Hey, not new arrivals. I clicked the wrong thing. New arrivals is you here with us tonight. I did not grab my monitor, so I'm going to use the phone for the chat. Like every few weeks for close to a year, they'd call me, you still haven't paid your late fee, and every time we never rent... Okay. Not new. I agree. Okay, cool. Well, hey, we're live. I'm going to get the computer. It's been a little hectic tonight. If you may or may not know this, we are planning a move within the next few weeks, and one of our friends is taking over our lease. And we are hanging out with our friend's dog tonight, who is new to our space. Our cat is a little nervous about it, so we might have to get up and down and mitigate the animals tonight a little bit, but we are here, and hey, if you hear the dog whining...
Don't know if you can hear that.
Hey, it's 7:03 p.m., and no matter where you are in a video store. I'm one of your two clerks, Adam Protextor.
And I'm your other clerk, Stephanie Thoreson, back from after a 2-week hiatus.
More a 2-week sick-atus. Low-atus.
Low-atus. That's good. That's what I should have said.
There you go. Well, I'm here.
Oh, and we have a break-in.
Okay, well, here we go. Hey, buddy. He's a very beautiful, big old white Falcor looking dog. Hey, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hey. Oh, okay.
And there it is. Come here. Hey.
Hey.
Come here. Oh, buddy.
Just a little drama in the video store for you.
Buddy.
Okay.
Buddy.
You know what?
Come on.
Okay.
Come on. There we go.
All
Are you
right.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi. Some real life drama.
Hey. You love to chase that cat,
Okay.
huh? Okay. Hi, everybody. It's a movie tonight. Not a video store, but a full-on movie. All right, we're gonna check on the cats. Oh my God, buddy. Hi, it's okay. It's okay. Well, hi, everybody. I don't know what I look like on the camera right now. Probably ridiculous. Do you have a cat? All right. Let me make sure that we're still live, that everything is plugged in. Oh my God.
Hey. Well, got the cat in the back.
Wow, y'all.
They can break in.
Okay, I'm back on the chat. Holy goddamn. Holy shit. We're going to separate them for the night. That is a dog who is not used to a cat, and a cat who is only used to our dog that he grew up with. Oh, my heart's racing. Well, hey. Oh, Turtles is down. You're right. Thank you. Well, I think I know what that is. All right, let's check it. Back out of here, bud. Back out of here. All right.
Fingers crossed.
Where's the cat?
Cat's in the bedroom with just the stool that I kind of snuck in front of the door.
I think we should check on that before.
Well, yeah.
Do you want to switch with me?
Yeah.
All right. Turtles is back up. Hey, thank you. Here's the chat. It's on my phone. I'll go look at this.
Okay. All right. I don't know if Adam explained exactly what's going on, but we are trying to acclimate our animals, of which there are 3, with the person taking over our home, who is going to have to live with us for 2 weeks. So we're just having an adventure. Real-time adventure. Pulling up the chat to see who's out there, seeing what's up. Because I can't remember Adam's passcode on his phone. So I'm pulling up my own chat. Hey, we're live with the viewers. And Charlie's back in the room. Hello, great job, nerds. Did you catch the drama? Did you catch the drama? Did we all catch the drama? Well, I don't know whose heart is pounding faster, my heart or the cat's heart. And I don't know if y'all can see this, but we do have Charlie right here just sniffing around. And June right here kind of doing what June does, which is laying down, being cute. Hey, Charlie. All right. Well, as we figure out exactly how we're going to make this work for the evening, just to let you know, normally this show has 3 parts. We start off with what did you watch, where we drop in the chat what we watched for the week, and we see what you watched this week, and sort of do an open discussion, open forum for our thoughts, feelings, opinions, crosstalk. That being said, this is a space of kindness and, openness. Typically we say don't judge something you haven't seen, have an open mind, don't yuck yums, and, that certainly doesn't mean you can't have an opinion, but just be nice about it, be open about it. Hey, Pathos. And then we move in, gosh, what do we do after that movie? My brain, it's like, what a whirlwind to get thrown back in after 2 weeks of being sick. Which, thank you for the kind words of those of you who reached out or dropped something in the chat. Yeah, it's been a wild ride, but I am feeling much better. Right, so like I was saying, oh, right, I know. What did you watch? Then we move on to new arrivals, which is where we discuss what showed up in the video store this week, things we've acquired, whether that be memorabilia or new Blu-rays or upgrades or collectible VHS. Then we move on to our movie club. We discuss a movie that we all watch together, or most of us watch together or have seen before, and we sort of drop our opinions and can y'all see Charlie just like scoping this room out? I am sweating right now. Pathos is gonna drop a gob of yuck. And what we watched tonight, LOL. Hey, bud. Great. Then after we discuss our movie pick for the week, we move on to our staff picks, which is where Adam and I both recommend a movie to you, and then we pick a new movie for our movie club next week. It's a real fun time. It's a lot of interactive talking. This is a place where the chat is very important. We encourage a lot of back and forth, whether that be with us, among the entire group, or between you and other people in the chat. So, I can hear Adam kind of, doing some stuff in the other room. Hopefully we've figured out a solution with the kitty cat. My fingers are crossed. My heart is pounding. This is indeed a movie, and we are we at the inciting incident? Is this the inciting incident? Is this the MacGuffin moment? Or maybe that was the climax. That's what my hope is. My hope is that Charlie's the MacGuffin and we've just reached the climax, and we're gonna ease on into that denouement and just sort of roll credits, and everyone can go to night for the night. Fingers crossed. Okay, well, I guess while we're just sort of getting settled in here, like I mentioned, we start off with, what did you watch this week? I see just little glimmers of fur and sweat and a tail swoosh and a hair swoosh. I'm like, okay. I will say that here comes Adam.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, I was just giving a rundown of the show and letting everyone
know why we're crazy tonight.
Get settled in for the evening. And for those of you who don't know, I think Adam did mention at the top of the stream, but we are in the process of packing up our life, downsizing, getting rid of easily 3/4 of our belongings, and moving across the country during a global pandemic with 2 animals.
That's true. Sorry, I'll jump in. I'm pulling up the chat over here so that I can make sure to have a monitor open. All right, y'all. Well, first of all,
I'm gonna hop on, finish my little task over here while you.
Yes. All right. Cool. Dogzilla unplugged your arcade cabinet. He did. Yes. Turtles is back up. Also, our editing computer with our sitcom that we raised $20,000 to shoot and exists on that hard drive was also just knocked over by that dog. So we're gonna try and be safe.
It's gonna take a moment.
I'm gonna drop a heaping gob of yuck in what we watch tonight.
That's just a little joke.
Jen, dogs, I don't want to deal with dogs right now. I love you. I don't want to talk to you right now.
I need some space, June.
Seriously, I don't want to think about you or the other dog right now. I love you. Don't try to come in here.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I don't know. Feels weird to say on air, but Charlie definitely just tried to kill Spooky.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
No, like that was prey drive. That was like tried to eat him. So we're gonna have to figure that one out with a kind of solution.
Yeah.
If anyone in Austin has this cat-friendly house and wants to spooky sit for a month, let us know because we might have to do that. This is our experiment night. So our friend is going to be moving here with his pup, and we're going to be doing that for a couple weeks before we move. So this is our trial night to see how the dog does with our cat. Not off to a great start.
Not so much. We did just, it's,
They're walking around. They're calm. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Hey, sorry about that. You got some drama up top on the stream tonight. Okay, so you already broke down the show.
I broke down the show. It was a little, like this. Because, I was one eye here and one eye
daylight come and you wanna go home.
One eye here and one eye there. But I did kind of give a rundown of what our segments are like and what the show is normally like and why the chaos is ensuing as it is ensuing this evening.
And the cabinet was fine. Everything's fine. Hey, and we're talking with the what did people watch? Okay, Pathos kicked us off. Event Horizon. I love that movie. A knockoff Marvel movie called Thor: End of Days, presumably instead of Thor Ragnarok. The in-movie title said God of Thunder. Interesting.
Oh.
You know, that happens a lot with especially low-budget stuff that's kind of made to make a quick buck. They will print the movie and have one title card be in it and have everything ready to go, and they don't want to use any budget on re-editing that. So if they decide to rename it later, hey, it's renamed later. I'm surprised that happened for such a new movie, because my understanding is that is more of a symptom of old movies, especially imports. But dang, I guess there you go.
And it looks like Pathos and Glowcat are saying that they
Nope.
didn't watch as many movies as they normally do. I'd say that that's true for us as well.
Very true.
I feel like coming out of
Nope.
Come
here.
I feel like coming out of the holidays, especially after.
Guess what room you're not allowed in, buddy?
Oh, this is a fun time to not be in this room, Charlie.
Very big and very strong.
You're a big, strong boy.
Come on, there you go. And June.
And June, let's go
Dogs.
party. Puppy party in the living room. Only 2 invites, very exclusive.
Very exclusive.
I was just saying that, I feel like this time of year, I'm just going to drop a real quick theory. I feel like starting with October, it's like hardcore movie season. I mean, October, people are like horror movies left and right, movie every night, 2 movies a night. Let's watch specials. Then specials.
Oh, special.
Then it starts getting a little colder, and we're like, I'm not going outside. I'm going to keep this going. Then you get into holiday season, you're like double down, plus holiday movies, plus holiday specials. Look out.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Then,
Come on.
hey,
Come on, strong boy.
hey, strong boy.
Hey, you can move 10 pounds of weight with your nose. That's incredible. Let's go think about it and what it means for other places in the house. Come on, June. June's like, I don't want to.
I know. Then we get into January. It's, right after New Year's. It's kind of that weird hump where we're like, what year is it? What day is it? What time is it? Especially this year. Let's get real. Time is a construct to begin with. And even now, it's like just doubling down. Like, oh my gosh, has it been 2 days or a week? 5 minutes or an hour? I don't know. But anyways, my theory is that compounded with seasonal affect disorder, which I feel like, shout out if you've got SAD. I certainly do. That's sort of like, this is the time where people are like, is the sun out a little more? Or the holidays are over, right? Like, this is just such a weirdly ambiguous time of year. This sort of like late January moving into February, at least for me here in Texas. I don't know what it's like for everyone else. But this is the time of year where like one day it's snowing and the next day you're in like shorts and a t-shirt, and then it's raining and freezing cold, and then you wear a sweater in the morning and you're burning hot, blasting your AC 2 hours later. I don't know. It's a confusing time. It's a confusing night. I'm a confusing person. How are y'all doing out there? The point I was trying to make is that it seems like other people didn't watch as many movies, which is something we talked about, Adam and I talked about earlier this week. That's the point I'm trying to make. Looks like Glowcat, speaking of watching not that many movies, it looks like they watched 4 movies. Psycho Gorman, The Big Brawl, Blood Fist, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And yes, I hope that we all watch The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I finished that this morning. I fell asleep watching it last night. As we've discussed many times on the stream, I'm not quite as much of a night owl as Adam is. Glowcat, I'm going to have to wait for Adam to get back in here unless other people have thoughts on these movies, because I have to be totally honest with you. I am not familiar with any of these that you've listed aside from our movie club pick. But Pathos does say Thor was just not a fun time. They tried super hard to get a guy who looked and sounded like Chris Hemsworth. Wow. Interesting. I'm going to have to look that up. Just that description makes me feel very, very uncomfortable. What does that make me think of? I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to listen. How are blood pressure, heart rates?
Yeah, I just kenneled it.
Oh, okay.
Put together June's kennel.
We've pulled out the kennel.
The kennel is in operation. Yes. Oh my God, y'all.
I just rambled about absolute nonsense. So I think
we're in a good spot. Thor was not a fun time. They tried super hard to get a Chris Hemsworth guy. I mean, where did you find that? Because I remember seeing the cover art for that. I'm so curious, Pathos. What drew you to it? Were you trying to see like what the ripoff would look like, or just looking for a fun, low budget thing? Because I remember watching Transmorphers back in the day, the Asylum ripoff of Transformers, and Transmorphers was legitimately, I think, better than Transformers because I just hate the Transformers movies. Anyway. What did we watch this week?
Okay.
Let's dive into that. We didn't watch much. And
yeah.
Oh, you were talking about the seasons. I agree with you.
I was dumping like some really stupid, just occurred to me, half-baked, probably totally off-base theory about the holidays leading in, like correlating with seasonal affect disorder, and that this time of year is maybe when people are like finally being like, what?
Right.
Is there a life beyond my bedroom?
I get that. With spring, it's just spring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The reawakening.
You're just describing spring.
Yeah, well. I just meant how it correlates to how many movies we watch.
No, I mean, I get that. I agree with you. You start going out more, you stop being a homebody. Yeah. Unless there's a pandemic, in which case we were just so busy with moving stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
But we did not watch much. We watched Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. We watched A Fistful of Dollars. I watched Gamera, the Giant Monster, which is the first Gamera movie. Correct me if I'm saying that wrong. Is it Gamera or Gamera? I don't know.
Potato.
Potato. And then, of course, our movie club pick, which we can pop up over here. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And, man, Fistful of Dollars was so fun to rewatch. I'm going to have to watch for a few dollars more in a few days because we got this in the mail. This is how we were watching it. To be honest, an underwhelming packaging for 3 movies with such a gigantic scope to them. Mm-hmm. But the print looked really nice for both of these movies. Harold and Kumar we did a fun thing for.
We did. I think before the chat gets a little longer, we should just circle back real fast because Glowcat was dropping some stuff in the chat that I had no knowledge of, and it looks like people are kind of... I said, please drop in the chat more information and that you might have heard of these movies. I for sure have not. Psycho Gorman, The Big Brawl, and Blood Fist.
Oh, nice. Psycho Gorman's a new one.
And that's Glowcat just said. Psycho Gorman is a new film written and directed by Steven Kostanski? Created the Void?
Why do I'm not seeing any of that in my chat.
Oh, well, here.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. I've heard... So actually, Glowcat, I saw you posting about Psycho Goreman, and I thought that it looks really awesome, and I need to check it out. I had no idea there was the person behind Father's Day. Amazing. All caps, spaced out. That's a wonderful recommendation. I will probably watch that this week. And what was the other one you said that I... the Big Brawl. Big Brawl. I've never seen the Big Brawl. I have an old tape of it. I need to watch that movie. Remind me who's in the Big Brawl again. Is that a Lee movie? Oh no, it's Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's first big movie, 1980. Very cool. I'm actually reading Jackie Chan's autobiography right now, so hopefully I get to him talking about that. I love Jackie Chan. Y'all have no... Actually, I think I've shown this before on the show, but my background... You can't see, you can't tell, but my background on my phone is
really
Jackie
firing
Chan.
all cylinders tonight.
My adrenaline is up, y'all.
Me too.
Okay, cool. Transformers movies are all pretty bad. I agree.
And Blood Fist was the other one.
Oh, Blood Fist I never heard of. Blood Fist. Sounds like something that I should have heard of.
It also looks like Wedge dropped their list, which we haven't really...
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about this particular era in American action movies. So Blood Fist and like several other movies around that time where they are capitalizing on the like fact that ninjas got so big during the 80s. And that played into the 90s too. With like, obviously we probably all grew up on Three Ninjas, but obviously there's the Turtles, and then just ninja action in general, a renewed fascination with Japan. I'd be interested in looking into that. But there's a whole I feel like there's a whole number of like fighting, fighting dramas, like Blood Fist, Bloodsport, American Ninja 1 through 4, et cetera, et cetera. And I really don't know anything about that genre. Like I was never interested in it as a kid, and I need to kind of like go check it out now. Because as a kid, I was always like, they punch each other? Do they have like mutant powers or like? I wanted fantasy too much.
I definitely didn't get into Blood Fist. I actually hadn't heard of it, but if you've watched the show before, you know that I watched Bloodsport a lot and Rocky, like all the Rocky movies a lot, and American Ninja, blah 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 blah.
Cool. Oh, and Glowcat is saying that. Okay, Blood Fist is 89. See, when I was saying 80s, I kind of was just saying that I feel like that was building up through the 80s, and then the 90s was where all that, like, isn't American Ninja from the 90s and Three Ninjas? Anyway, Glowcat's saying this was like a whole ass... See, American Samurai, 1992, American Ninja... American Ninja was 85. Well, interesting. To a certain extent, whenever I start like looking at history and trying to make that, you realize that for everyone in a lived contemporary reality, it's just year to year, and only later do we look back and call it by decade. So it's just a genre moment. Anyway, that's very interesting to know. Bloodsport 3 the most. I haven't seen any Bloodsports, and Glowcat's also saying it was a Bloodsport cash-in. Cool. King of the Kickboxers. Good to know. Good to know. Oh, did we even say what we did with Harold and Kumar?
Not yet. I just wanted to make sure that we touched base with Wedge. They watched Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Vinny and them watched Terminator, Dark Fate, and made it almost all the way through 3:10 to Yuma.
Oh, nice. We did not get to 3:10 to Yuma. Again, I think that if Good, the Bad, and the Ugly hadn't been our pick, we may have been able to double feature something. But I was up till like 3 last night watching this because I put it off. Yeah, and I fell asleep. And it looks like we've got a Gamera. And from Glowcat, and Watch Out Wedge says Gamera, I'm assuming. Here, let's ask YouTube.
We'll see what it says.
See what she says. Gamera. Huh.
Gamera.
But I don't know who this is. Isabella saying. You know what? I'm not going to sweat it. We can all go down our rabbit holes later. What's up, Tony G. Wiz?
What's up?
Good to have you. Cool. If you missed the top of the show tonight, we are dog sitting a dog who does not want to get along with our cat, and so there was major chaos as the two of them got into it, and we are a little sweaty and a little jittery still because of it. That dog is kenneled up, and our cat is in the other room, closed off, and our dog is just walking around confused.
Yeah, she's just like so chill.
Yeah, she's
considering.
chill. She's a very chill animal.
Considering what's happening.
Missed you too, Tony. It's good to have you back.
Yes, and I'm happy to be back as well.
Yes.
Okay,
cool.
what did we watch? Oh,
Harold and Kumar. So we thought it'd be fun. We were celebrating getting a spot. We got a spot where we're moving, and we locked it down. And so we were celebrating. We stayed up late.
we played Girl Talk.
Yeah, we drank a little. We played a whole game of Girl Talk. Shout out to actually the person who makes the low budget videos, Ivan, for taking a phone call so I could score some points.
Oh man, that was really funny.
It was very fun. And then we decided to stay up and watch a dumb movie. So we watched Harold and Kumar, which I feel like you can't start this movie without finishing it. It just takes you through. It's so short and fun. I really love this movie still. Parts of it still are like gross out comedy of the era, very like aughts style shock bro humor. But I think it's got a good heart and it's legitimately funny. Mm-hmm. And what we did was we ordered burgers through Favor. We had been drinking. We didn't want to go drive and get them. So we ordered burgers through Favor, and we timed it. We like looked it up on Favor to see how long it would take, and then we waited until that minute mark in the movie and ordered it. So our burgers arrived literally as Harold and Kumar are hang gliding down to White Castle. And so...
Yeah, survey says Denny's
burgers are good.
Good burgers, y'all. It was late at night, and we were like, we don't have very many options. Denny's? And then when it got here, we were like, Denny's?
I feel like that was more your experience, because I personally was like, Denny's Burgers is the place to be.
Maybe it was my experience. I was very pleasantly surprised. I was like, this is a double patty, super juicy. This bacon is crispy.
That's good.
This cheese is good.
Save it for when we get the sponsorship. Denny's, you can get 50 more words out of us. Just call us. What else? Fistful of Dollars, which it was really interesting watching. We'll talk about it more later, but just to touch base on Fistful. I love this movie. It was your first time seeing it. Mm-hmm. What did you think?
I don't know. It's weird.
I was just going to say, I put you on the spot there,
yeah.
So I'll fill some time. I basically just thought it was really interesting seeing these back to back. As I was describing it to Stephanie, who hadn't seen either one, it's like Fistful of Dollars is the like pop song demo, and then Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is like the concept album where you bring in an orchestra.
Yeah, I think the reason I kind of froze up is because it was hard for me in that moment to think of Fistful of Dollars outside of the context of Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Because
Right.
my immediate instinct was, maybe because of that conversation we had, was to compare the two, or to like see how Fistful was setting the scene and in what ways for Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Because as you pointed out to me, it's technically a trilogy, but Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a standalone film.
Well, here's the thing also. It is technically a trilogy, but I learned this, that the trilogy was thrust onto this by MGM. So like The Man with No Name, basically Clint Eastwood and Sergio Leone were working together making these movies, but Clint Eastwood technically plays a different character in each movie, according to them. MGM was apparently delighted when they realized he didn't have a character's name in this, because they wanted to market it as a trilogy. The only reason that it was left at 3 is because Clint Eastwood got tired of working with Sergio Leone. He apparently thought he was too much of a perfectionist, didn't like the number of takes they did, and he hated smoking. Apparently with a cigar that they had to do multiple takes with, he reportedly said to Leone, like, you better get this next take right because I'm going to throw up. So Eastwood, who also demanded a Ferrari to continue shooting on Good, Bad, and the Ugly, Eastwood was a little bit of a diva during this period. And Leone, one of the great directors of all time, but I feel like Leone was finding his finding the voice. The interesting thing is that there's only a 2-year difference between Fistful of Dollars and Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. 2 years between movies, but the budget is so much bigger for Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, I think what's interesting, hearing you say that the trilogy aspect of it was kind of thrust upon the movie after the fact, or the series of the movies kind of in the moment, like in real time. I think it's interesting noting in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the moment where he takes his jacket off to cover up the soldier, and then instead of putting his, I don't know if y'all can hear the dogs, and then instead of putting his jacket back on, he pulls the poncho from behind him and puts the poncho on, which is at least in my mind, was a direct nod to the first movie.
Right. It is.
Like a little wink to the camera, like...
it is. And I'm not... I guess I misspoke when I said he's not the same character. I'm just saying he's not, like, necessarily needing to be. But obviously he could be, and it's this man's journey. He's like, I like looking at it that way, too. Why not? And the poncho is definitely there. That also points to the fact that Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is technically a prequel to Fistful of Dollars.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Well, it is.
I'm just gonna check.
Yeah, please. The cat's in the back, by the way, in the bedroom still. We're having animal situations. We're going to be trading off tonight. Anticipate. Yeah, I mean, he probably is just the same character, the man with no name, but I think there is some flexibility. The interesting thing that I was learning about is that it's part of the plot of Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, obviously, that it's taking place during the Civil War, whereas Fistful and For a Few Dollars More take place after the Civil War. And on that note, I'm very excited to get into the, like, Americana aspect of how Leone researched and attacked documenting that period of time. But for Fistful of Dollars standalone, again, I want to know what Stephanie has to say, because it was her first watch. It was interesting for us because we had just watched, not only had we just watched the Fistful of Paintballs episode of Community about 3 days before, but as you know, if you watch this show, we watched Back to the Future trilogy not too long ago as well, which is full of nods to this, to Fistful in particular. It was just really fun getting to see these iconic moments played out, especially after seeing two contemporary things that are referencing them directly. But more so, I just love the Yojimbo plot. I love Clint Eastwood in it. It is interesting how much more like handheld camera, kind of slapdash editing. Not to criticize it, it's not bad editing, but it's definitely the first one feels a little more by the seat of its pants, which is why I describe it as like a pop song demo. It's like everything's there, they're working with a shoestring budget, and they're showing you what they can do with that. And then clearly you give that same band millions and millions of dollars to make their next album, they can hire an orchestra, orchestrate it all out. Look, I'm just trying to find a way to compare Sergio Leone to ELO, all right? Because you can't spell Leone without ELO. Right? Yeah, you can't. Not in that. Well, anyway. Fistful of Paintballs and For a Few Dollars More, directed by Russo's. Yes. Yes, Glowcat. So it's been... I don't think I've ever watched For a Few Dollars More, actually. So, yes, that is, I think, why the prequel, sequel stuff and the weirdness... can kind of be written away, is because I don't think that Leone and Eastwood are thinking of them as necessarily sequential movies. They're just telling a story. Although Lee Van Cleef apparently joked that he got to come back for Good, the Bad, and the Ugly because they forgot to kill him and For a Few Dollars More, despite the fact that they take place in reverse order from that. So what are you going to do? And yes, I love the Russos. That's a big part of why I think Community is so awesome. And I love looking at the way that the Russos work with ensemble casts and genre, and you can definitely see their Community training in the Marvel movies they did. Absolutely adore them, honestly, as filmmakers. They're so fun. To me, they're the most exciting, like, TV to blockbuster filmmakers since Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who did the Lego Movie, and 21 and 22 Jump Street and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Love those guys too. It's funny because Community disses the Marvel movies pretty hardcore at certain points. Like Jeff like quiets his voice and says, those unremarkable Marvel movies.
That's a Dan Harmon thing for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's 100% Dan Harmon living vicariously through his character.
And can you just imagine being Dan Harmon and ripping on something that's really popular? Like being that person who's mad that something you don't think is very good is popular, which I think we've all been there in some way.
Yeah.
But being that and writing it and having the directors on your show go on to build that universe out instead. Anyway, love those guys. The Winter Soldier was the first time, I mean, I think for everybody, that was their first Marvel movie, where it was like, oh, okay, cool, y'all can do this. Apparently making a sitcom makes people really good at understanding story structure and how to mix comedy and multiple characters. Who knew?
Yeah, and massive arcs.
Yeah, and massive arcs. Which TVHs are, not to like... whatever, I'm going to manifest this. We have a sitcom right now. We're going to finish it.
Put it out.
And we're going to... And then we have a superhero movie we want to do. Not going to say anything more about that because I don't want anyone to know about it. But we're trying to follow a similar trajectory.
I was going to say, speaking of TV, I'm curious if people have been watching more TV lately.
We have. That's
we
a good
have been
point.
watching a lot more TV. And that's not something that's not... You know, aside from a very few things, not really something we normally do, I have been absolutely delighted that season 2 of Blown Away came out.
Talk to us about... Oh, by the way, quick poll. Well, you know what? We're probably going to do it anyway, so just be nice. I was going to say, quick poll, do you like this idea? Well, do you want to tell them the idea?
Oh, yeah. So we were saying, how do you feel about doing a TV corner?
Stephanie's TV corner. Because our thinking is that when we do new arrivals, I use up all the oxygen in the room. And Stephanie, because I'm the one buying the movies, we want to make sure, I don't know, just want you to have like a corner as well to dive into stuff. And you are more hip on the new TV than I am.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, you watched that new HBO show. You have probably thoughts on that. Did you finish that?
I'm waiting to watch the finale. Okay, so the things I've been watching are, as we discussed a couple weeks ago, I think we went down, we kind of talked about it in the chat then of like, if you start, be prepared to go very far down that rabbit hole. Follow that bunny.
Of what?
The Bachelor.
Oh, The Bachelor. So we've been watching. Wait, I thought you were going to talk about.
Oh, I'm just giving a broad overview here.
Do you want this to be the first Stephanie's TV corner, and I can go check in on the animals again real quick?
Go check in on the animals, and this doesn't have to be anything official. I'll just ramble.
Please ramble. Honestly, my brain feels split in two because I'm so worried about how they're doing. I'm going to take the dogs and put them outside, bring the cat back in here so we know where he is, and then kennel him.
He's on the window ledge in the bedroom.
I know where he is. So I'm going to bring him to you and let the dogs out.
Outside?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want them to run and get some energy out.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
I'm like speaking in my host voice about, and then next on the show, we're going to let the dogs out. Who let the dogs out? It was me.
Let's out there in the chat.
Oh, yeah. But seriously, I want to just, like, in my co-host capacity before, back to you, Stephanie. I want to say that I'm loving watching The Bachelor, as I always do. I think Werner Herzog said something about reality TV to the effect of, like, how can you be an artist in the world without, with only watching the world other artists create, or something like that. Basically, he was saying, watch all the trash TV, know what world you're in.
Yeah.
And I esoteric rationalization aside, I earnestly love it. Blown Away actually made me cry. It's a glass blowing show.
Yeah.
We watched an episode last night where this guy made a beautiful piece of art in tribute to his mother, and I cried. Yeah. I think I have been turning to TV as a source of calmness in crazy times as well.
Yeah. All right, you go check on the animals. Great job, nerds. Vinny, just getting here. First of all, Glowcat, I want to know what classic TV shows you've been watching. And for those of you just joining us, including Great Job Nerds, we are talking briefly about TV as Adam goes to check once again on the situation with the dogs. And by dogs, I mean 3 dogs, including our tiny little baby puppy, spooky puppy, the kitty, who is in fact a dog. Anyway, so as I was saying, I did mention this before, but it took me up until maybe 4 years ago to get into The Bachelor. And by that, I mean my roommate was watching it. My roommate at the time was watching it, and I decided, sure, yeah, this is fun. And then I was like, oh my God, that went by really fast. Okay, I'm fine. And then they're like, psych, The Bachelorette is on, or maybe it's the other way around. And I was like, oh my God, that's premiering in 3 weeks. Okay, just count down. And then that goes by really fast, and I don't know if y'all can hear this dog drama. Hey, baby. All right, yeah. Okay, so if you don't know, we're dealing with some very unique drama this evening. And if you don't know, this is our cat, Spooky Puppy the kitty. He has some pretty severe anxiety issues to begin with that manifest in problems with his urinary tract. So we have to be really careful about his stress levels. And he did take 100 milligrams of gabapentin tonight. I don't know why I'm telling you guys all of this, but he's still like shaking. And his little heart is pounding like a hummingbird. Okay. All right. Yes. What was I saying? Okay. Bachelorette. Yes. Then you're like, oh my God, there's Bachelor in Paradise. I would never go that far. I'm not that person. I'm not the person that watches Bachelor in Paradise. And then cut to halfway through the season, you're like screaming at the TV, being like, oh my God. And then, you're gearing up for Bachelor season for next year. It's a dangerous drug, and I highly recommend it. That completely aside, I have started getting back into some televisions, just here and there. This past few weeks in particular, especially because I was sick and I had a lot of time to kill, I got very into The Flight Attendant, which I was not anticipating. I started it completely on a whim because I'd heard an interview with one of the creators on a podcast. And I gotta say, it's really fascinating because it feels almost like an NBC drama, like a procedural drama, but they're trying to make it like a procedural drama done HBO style. So the directing is really kind of bizarre and feels almost at odds with how creative and ambitious the story is. It's also based on a novel, which I think might have something to do with kind of the strange story structure and multiple arcs sort of getting interwoven, which I think is interesting. Something to think about, like, when you are trying to adapt novels that are a little more like magical realism or a little more like, somebody living in their own mental health and their own fantasies. How does that manifest on the screen, and how do you toe that line between making the audience wonder what is real and what is not, and what feels absurd and what feels believable and what feels something somewhere in between. Anyways, that's my thoughts on The Flight Attendant. I have the season finale of season 1 left. It's on HBO. If anyone's interested or anyone has watched it, I'm trying to think if I would highly recommend this show. It's so strange because I couldn't stop watching it, but I wasn't like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I just wanted to know what happens, which I guess happens more often than not with some television shows. And then, as Adam was saying, and I was also saying, the new season of Blown Away came out on Netflix, and I am so excited. I remember passing over season 1 so many times and then just being bored late at night and wanting something a little more passive to watch, and starting it and just ate that shit up. It's a show, it's a reality competition show about glass blowing. It is fascinating. It is artistically produced. like the creations are presented in a lit white box with glass sliding doors at the end with like this, minimalist aesthetic and soundtrack behind it. It's great. And as Adam was saying, the last episode in season 2, this very stoic, very like kind of gruff, cocky, old school guy, glassblower, who's the guy with the most experience there. He made this just beautiful effigy to his mother, where he integrated notes to her about his son and things like that into the piece. And I don't know if I've ever been so moved by a piece of art on a reality show ever. Like it was palpable. I could like feel the emotion, the intention, the pain, the beauty, all of it through the screen. And I'm getting goosebumps now. And I was like, I think you said at some point, you were like, that belongs in a museum. And I was like, 100%.
And then someone on the show said, I think one of the other contestants said, we all made, what did he say? We all made sculptures, he made art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I honestly was like, I'm going to watch this show now. Glass blowing is a totally foreign world to me. That's super fascinating. I loved watching it with you. What about Flight Attendant?
Oh, I was saying how it feels like a procedural that's, got a really big budget.
Well, update on the dog situation.
Okay, what's the update?
I decided that the easiest way to do this was to keep the dogs in the bedroom. Okay. So both dogs are in the bedroom, which has a closing, locking door. Okay.
Yeah.
I took them both out. Our guest dog broke into our neighbor's spot and tried to hurt her cat.
Should we do have a call?
Well, I'm debating on if he'll be okay to spend the night. It's also that his dad's not here.
I know.
And that might help.
I'm worried that perhaps a preemptive sleepover was maybe not the best move.
Well, should we call?
I think maybe we should call.
Do you want to do that or should I?
I think maybe. I don't know.
You want me to?
Yeah, kinda.
All right. Blown Away is so good as season 2 on Netflix.
Yes, season 2 is on Netflix. Ugh, yes, 100%. And I'm gonna catch up on the chat here too. Lupin, second person to recommend Lupin.
Yes. Is there any connection with Lupin and the anime? Is my question. I asked a friend this, and I don't think they were familiar with the anime, so they just described the TV show. But I don't know anything about the anime either, other than that the figurines for Lupin the Third were super popular at the toy store I worked at back in the day, in the Japan import section. It's a maybe.
It's a maybe. Yeah, right? This night is feeling very much like it's a maybe.
Great job, nerds can understand. You know what it's like. Our cat grew up with our dog. He was a baby when we got him, and she was like a mother. He doesn't like other dogs, and this dog, I think, has a major prey drive thing with him.
He doesn't mind other dogs. He gets along with our neighbor's dog, but they have to warm up, and I just think that this dog who's spending the night is not giving is instinctually not giving the space for that to happen.
We'll figure it out.
I'm sweating from nerves.
I know. We should call him.
Should
I call him? When's the order coming in?
I don't know.
I can just text him too.
Yeah, shoot him a text. I'm gonna catch up with.
We're figuring it out. Hey, y'all, this is the beauty of live TV. Drama.
Remember when I said when Adam was gone, when I was like, "Is this the inciting incident? Is Charlie is this dog the MacGuffin?" And I was like, maybe that was the climax, and now we can just ease on through to the credits. I was wrong. This drama is alive and well. This drama is only getting more nuanced and intense as we move through it. Okay. WandaVision. We have been watching WandaVision.
Yes, WandaVision has been so fun. We talked about Dick Van Dyke and then Be Watched, and then we've been watching a lot. Yeah. You've been watching more, but I've been on a Community rewatch. So I've been rewatching through Community. Basically, I think with all the stress and change going on in our life, I love movies, but it's when it's late at night and I don't want to throw on a old favorite because I know I'll be up for 2 hours watching it. and then I accidentally am up for 3 hours because I watched 6 episodes of Community. You know how it is.
I think it's your brain tricking yourself into thinking that you have options. Like if you're watching a show that's maybe 28 minutes an episode, you're like, all right, I can just watch one and then I can lay my little head down to sleep, and then cut to 4 hours later and you're like, what? I should go to bed, but I'll just watch one more. And then Netflix goes, are you still watching? And you go, don't judge me. And then you click yes, and then cut to 6 a.m. And then you go, if I go to sleep now, I'm going to get this amount of sleep.
Right, it's the counting.
Oh, no. And then
it's the
and
counting.
then your heart starts pounding, and then you get like an hour.
I had to get up to help a friend move this morning.
Yeah.
And I watched this, and I was like, I'm finishing this movie tonight. And then Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And then it was 3 a.m., and then I watched a bunch of... Okay, anyway... I'm going to text, deal with the pet shenanigans. I'll be back. I don't want to be on my phone during a stream unless I'm looking at my list. So I apologize for being rude and distracted. It's live TV, guys. Okay, we're having a...
Also, they said they were on their way with our order 30 minutes ago. So, should be any minute now. Okay. Sorry we are so manic. I'm realizing that we're both speaking louder and more quickly than we normally do. It's just,
All right, well, I shot that group text to you, so you let me know what you think. I'm in your phone as Professor Duck still. We've got beer and whiskey coming, thank God. Look, I'll go ahead and jump into the... It sounds like all of us... Manic too, thank you. Yes, I don't know what's in the air. I think maybe it is just that, 2021, we feel as though we defeated 2020, and then nothing changed.
It's just more of the same.
And then we look at the I don't want to get doom scrolly here and doom and gloom on the show, because this show is ostensibly about creating a space that is, magically free from everything, like a movie might be, but also like a movie necessarily shaped and influenced by the politics of its time. So, I will say that our manic energy, your manic energy, let's not pretend it's not there. I think we entered into this year thinking this very human, ritualistic thing that a new year is a fresh start. We are on the verge of a vaccine, and as soon as we see a vaccine crossing that horizon, we also see the anti-vaxxers crossing that horizon, and it feels very hopeless, and I think a lot of us are just... Look, it has been 6 days since inauguration.
It feels like it's been a month.
It feels like it has been 2 months... I swear to God, it has been less than a week. Inauguration is a week from tomorrow. So, if you're feeling the same way, please, I just want to say, on a personal note, I struggle with anxiety, mad style. I need to work on that. That sounds like beer.
That sounds like...
You want to get that? I struggle with anxiety and poor coping mechanisms sometimes, like insomnia or drinking beer on the show. But I just want to say from me to you, if you're feeling the same thing, I think we're all in this together. And sometimes you just need to watch TV, because TV is, what is that quote from Rick and Morty? No one's anywhere on purpose. Nothing means anything. Come watch TV. Sometimes you just need that. I'm sorry for quoting Rick and Morty. Not really. It's fun. It's a good show. Cool. Made beef stew in a crock pot, was too paranoid to leave it on. Thought 3 hours would be long enough to cook, but it wasn't, so ended up watching Midsummer's director's cut until 5:30. I love that. Vineet, what do you think? Was that your first time watching the Midsummer director's cut? Because I know that it was in theater, and then right now you can only get it through a proprietary release from A24. So please, tell us. We spoke, and Stephanie does not like Midsummer. It makes her really uncomfortable. So while she's out, let's have a little bit of a kiki here. What did you feel about the DC of Midsummer? Yep, exactly. The word president is still sinking in. I think we all have a feeling of trauma, mass trauma, and survival. Like surviving a time when a lot of people didn't, and a lot of people still aren't. And I know that I won't speak to the world and get on my soapbox, but I'll say me personally am struggling with the feelings of I don't want to say PTSD and overuse that and be all pop psychology, but I definitely feel like, is something bad going to happen? And learning to move past that while also accepting that bad things are still happening is a really rough spot to be in mentally, no matter who you are. So anyway, patience and love with all of y'all. Vineet caught it in theaters, loved it much, much more. What are the big differences? And we are going to talk a little Midsummer, I want to warn you. Speaking of PTSD from past traumas over the past year.
God.
Well, Vineet stayed up until 5:30 watching the director's cut, which you can only get on like a special from A24's website, like a special disc.
Yeah, I remember it, and everyone was saying that it's better.
People do like it more. Yes, indeed, we do.
Oof. All right. Well,
All right.
I don't have my Mayahuel, and I'm not gonna drink on the stream, but I do have.
I'm going to have my
Maybe.
traditional 1 beer an hour while streaming. It fills you in about the characters much more and adds a lot to the movie. It adds a lot of runtime. It feels shorter because it's a better movie, a better narrative. I love that. This actually points to something that I want to talk about real quick, which is the difference. And I feel like our audience is very diverse because we don't know who watches the VODs of this. Like we anyway, we know who's here now with us. Anyway, to whoever may be watching, I apologize if this is very old hat. But I think that something we don't talk about in the world of movies, at least pop discussion enough, is the difference between slow and boring. Because I am bored and will fall asleep watching Transformers 2 because it is hard for me to concentrate on the big CG. My eyes get overwhelmed, it all starts looking similar, and my brain starts turning off. Whereas Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 3 hours, slow pace, slow burn, and I was like, eyes drilling a hole into the screen. Same with something like even Solaris. Like, I love Tarkovsky's Solaris. It's a 3-hour existential nightmare on a spaceship about a man slowly losing his mind. I was rapt with attention watching that. And I think that sometimes the two words get confused, and I think you make a really good point there, Vineet, with the idea that even though the runtime's longer, the movie works better as a movie, and it keeps your attention more. And it feels shorter. I mean, that's the same reason why a 45-minute work meeting can feel like 2 hours, whereas, the finale of your favorite TV show, you're like, that's it? They're the same length. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. We all know this. I'm not a psychologist. And, hey, thank you, Pathos. Pathos rules. Oh, and Pathos ordered the Macross Plus Blu-ray. I'm so excited for you. Now, fair warning, you're going to have to wait like 6 to 8 weeks for it, like little kid cereal box style. Because this guy is a one-man operation. He does it all. But I promise you the quality is extremely cool. How much is the quality is extreme?
The quality is extreme.
Ryan...
How you doing back there? Oh.
You okay?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
He's trying to squeeze himself in between the screen and the...
He wants to be inside of the Turtles game.
He's like, where do I find safety?
That thing
where
is
do I
hollow.
find shelter?
It does not need to be that big. That thing is hollow. It is just a flat screen back there.
He's starting to calm down.
All right. He's on his way.
Okay.
Well,
this experiment was unsuccessful.
Interesting experiment, though. Extreme!
This experiment was extreme.
Speaking of Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. Hey, here's a fun question. Okay. Full disclosure, our friend is coming to pick up the dog. We're going to try and train the cat and dog later together in the light of day during more auspicious circumstances. So I'm going to have to get up in a second. I don't want to jump to new arrivals yet. So what I think would be fun is if we did a little game with everybody.
Okay.
First of all, 2 ideas for a game. One is...
Good point, Pathos. Sorry.
Right? Actually, there's an awesome... I'm going to drop his link. Boom Baptist. There's an awesome producer in Austin named Boom Baptist who released an NBA Jam concept album earlier this year. And his release, it was a quarantine stream, so his release for it, he bought one of these and he actually stood inside of it and played the whole album on the buttons for it.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
How have you never told me that?
It's really cool. I don't know. He's a cool dude. Yeah, he's a silly nice producer. Like, it sounds so good. Anyway, I thought it'd be fun to play this game. Okay. One that I saw going around Facebook, and there's the game. And then 2 is, what's your favorite silly stoner comedy? Because I loved watching Harold and Kumar. I think that's mine. I know that Dude, Where's My Car, Half Baked, the Cheech and Chong movies, obviously, Pineapple Express. Okay, mine's Pineapple Express, actually.
I was about to say, I thought for sure you would say Pineapple Express.
The thing I love about Pineapple Express is it's an art filmmaker, David Gordon Green, trying his hand making a stoner comedy. And I love it because it works as a stoner comedy, but it also works as like an art film about, hear me out, about genre, because the plot of that movie is what if two stoners ended up in the wrong movie genre. And if you watch it, as I assume they intended you to, if you smoke grandpa's lettuce before watching it and then don't continue during the movie, your come down will match the severity of events and the increase in violence, making it feel as though you are getting sucked into something more serious than you signed up for too. I love this movie. I think it works on several levels. What's your favorite stoner comedy?
Looks like we've got Dude, Where's My Car from Pathos, Wedge is saying Super Troopers, and Glowcat saying The Stoned Age, which I've never seen The Stoned Age.
Glowcat, I want you to come on this show. We need to do it in a Zoom window or something. I feel like you are the master of the deep cut, and I want to pick your brain more because every time you chime in the chat, and this is 100%, 1,000% a huge compliment. I want to compliment you and say every time you chime in, I'm like, I need to watch that. What is that? I just love being surprised by new movies that I hadn't heard of and being excited by them.
I feel like mine is so. Well, it's funny because, God, this is tough because Adam knows this about me, that I have kind of missed a lot of a very specific type of comedy.
Do you want to tell your story? Oh, no, that's different. I thought you were maybe talking about music in high school.
No, I don't even know
your autobiographical story.
My autobiographical?
Oh, of like being pushed away from secular music and then rediscovering it. But that maybe is another story for another time.
No. I was thinking about just sort of like these iconic comedies that a lot of people sort of saw at a certain time. I feel like I skipped over all of that and then saw them later in life after.
So we've been actually, yes, because you, and I'm not trying to put you on blast here or anything, but you had some preconceived, like, I'm not going to like these bro-y comedies. And I was kind of like, hold up, they're not all the worst of them.
To be fair, some of them are very much not something that I enjoy. And some of them are things that I lumped into a group unfairly.
Well, there's a lot of, like, cruel.
It was just picking it apart of, like.
I didn't want to talk over you, sorry. There's a lot of cruelty in those movies. We've talked about it. Comedies from the aughts, oftentimes very much punch down.
Yeah. Well, the reason I was bringing that up is because recently I've been saying, let's rewatch these old comedies, many of which are stoner comedies, but many of which are also things that I've either only seen once and or haven't seen in years and years and years and or have never seen. So like Harold and Kumar, for example, is one that I had only seen once, and it was many, many, many years ago. Pineapple Express is another one that I had only seen once, and we started the other night. I fell asleep. I always fall asleep. I always try so hard to.
You're so valiant. You're just not a night owl like I am.
I am, but it's like I'm a night owl until it's about 1:30 or 2 a.m. and then I'm like.
Can I cut us back to the chat real quick? Well, okay. Before I don't spoil it, I have a fun thing for you.
Okay. I didn't see.
Okay. Spoil it for yourself. I mean. Well, sorry. Did you? Sorry. I cut you off.
Sorry. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Everyone's like, someone talk.
Anyways, my God, this is such a rambling, long-winded.
Whatever. Have you heard me on this show?
Of what I'm saying is that this is probably doesn't even qualify as a stoner movie, but I remember, and also like I have many, many, many thoughts on
I'll be right back.
Judd Apatow. But when Knocked Up came out, I remember like genuinely really enjoying that movie and thinking of it as a stoner comedy with like so fucking cheesy, a stoner comedy with a heart and like a woman, you know what I mean? Anyways, I don't know if that. Can I look at the chat? I'm gonna look at the chat. Don't tell Adam. I don't know what I'd be spoiling. Okay. Yes, The Stoned Age. I want to know more about that. Oh, Grandma's Boy. Grandma's Boy is a movie, another one that I have not seen, and I've heard really fun things about. Nice dreams. My entire video club is based on deep cuts, my friend. Oh, that's great to hear, Glowcat. Great news. I love that. Oh, a couple of extra votes for Grandma's Boy. I'm kind of eavesdropping on. So far, no spoilers. Kind of trying to eavesdrop. I'm kind of trying to eavesdrop on the conversation. Uh-oh. I'm just going to make sure that the cat doesn't try to run that way. Okay. Grandma's Boy, Grandma's Boy, Grandma's Boy, Grandma's Boy. Sounds like I need to watch Grandma's Boy. There's the spoiler. Oh, Good Feels on Wheels. Oh. That is so sweet. Y'all are silly. Thank you so much for the shout out to Good Feels. Great job, nerds. And also to Tony T. Wiz. Tony G. Wiz. That is really sweet. I'm really glad you like the mushroom scene, and the boss killed me. That's great. Tony, if you don't know a little behind the scenes, that mushroom reaction from Ronald is 100% genuine. He hates mushrooms. They make him want to vomit. And for that scene, he chewed up real raw mushrooms, which I love mushrooms, so I was completely fine with that. But he really like almost puked. And that was, I think, our second or third take, and he really was like on the verge of throwing up. Also fun BTS, that scene in the pool that night, for whatever reason, hey bud, for whatever reason, it was freezing cold. So cold that night. So anyways, if you don't know, Good Feels is a movie that by Ronald Short, written and directed by Ronald Short, who's also the co-star alongside of myself. And it's a really fun stoner kind of romantic comedy, I think, as Ronald likes to describe it. Anyways. Okay. Hey, buddy. Hey, let's not. Okay, back to the chat. Glowcat. I think most Judd Apatow comedies are stoner comedies by proxy. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. I was like, does Knocked Up qualify as a stoner comedy? And interestingly enough, when Knocked Up came out, I saw it maybe 3 times in a year. I don't know. I don't know what I was going through in my life, but I was like got really into that movie. And then it sort of fell off, and I haven't seen it in a very long time, and I'm curious if I would enjoy it as much, you know? There's nothing in any rule book that says that you can't, you know, love something and then, or thoroughly enjoy something, or vice versa, and then not later. Anyways. I'm just, the cat is...
Hey, y'all. Hey, guess what? Where's the... Hi, buddy. Oh, do we want to really carefully get away from the Legos? Doobie-doobie. No.
I'm trying to calm...
Hey, buddy. Guess what? It's just your sister here now.
Oh.
I officially am happy that I'm no longer freaked out. Okay, buddy, you go do your thing.
You let that GABA kick in. Speaking of stoner comedy.
Oh, yes, speaking of stoner. Okay, all right. Hey, everybody. What a night it's been.
I really am, like...
Sweaty. We're going to chill out and watch The Bachelor tonight. Okay, first of all, Grandma's Boy got 2 votes. One from Wedge, a second vote from Glowcat. Did you get the spoil?
I got the spoil.
The spoil was that your movie.
Yeah.
Did you properly talk yourself up, though?
I did. I gave a few little, like, behind-the-scenes stories.
I just wanted... I guess I wanted to be here to say, like, she's in this fucking movie! Because I'm proud of you.
That's very sweet.
The mushroom scene in The Boss killed.
I was saying that scene, the take he used was like the second or third take, and Ronald actually hates mushrooms, like is like viscerally disgusted, and really was about to throw up in that scene. And I really was being like, you're being a baby.
Oh, with eating mushrooms? Because it's like dried ass mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronald. If you're out there, you made a very what am I trying to say? A very clever, sweet indie comedy, but you're kind of a little baby about mushrooms, okay?
And then I was countering that with, to be fair, I was a babe. I didn't complain, but the water was so cold in the pool that night that.
But you didn't complain, right?
I did not complain. I was like,
It's hard to act if you're trying to just breathe and not shiver.
You know, for those moments, I just had to be like, okay, 3, 2, 1, and it's warm.
Right. The power of imagination, truly. Oh, and now our dog's laying down in here. She's like, let's calm down, everybody. By the way, did the cat choose Leo and Donnie over here?
Yeah.
The cat chose his 2 players. Leo, shout out to Great Job Nerds who gifted us this Donatello action figure that Stephanie's holding that now lives on the cabinet as well. And thanks, Pathos. I'm glad that it has been... I'm glad that it's been fun. I think
This evening, the stream? Okay, I was worried that we were just, like, psychotic.
Well, I think it's okay to have one psychotic show every once in a while. Also...
Like breaking out in hives.
We got this. We got this. I'm actually prepared to... I'm totally prepared to have fun now because I'm no longer worried that my cat's going to die at any moment. Okay. Yeah. So we already saved him from the clutches of death about a year ago. He had a block... He was not peeing for 2 days, and we called the vet, and they were like, bring him in now. We sat in their parking lot at 3 a.m. We got a call from them. This is early in the pandemic, so less than a year ago, like April, early on when everyone else out in the world was still taking it really seriously. We were sitting out, and we're in Texas, so we just, anyway, it's a shit show. We were sitting out there, we get a call at 3 a.m., sitting outside the vet. Hey, we need to do surgery on him, or he's going to die tonight. We basically spent everything we had and got help from a very angelic friend who I don't want to name drop because they really did, like, they blew us away with their generosity to help us save his life.
Saving a cat's life at the last minute is not cheap.
Not cheap. So anyway, not about to have him die on his own home turf from a fight with a roommate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, are we ready to get into new arrivals?
Yeah, I do want to catch up with the chat real fast.
Okay, you catch up with the chat while I catch up with my own breath.
All right. So there was a lot of love for Grandma's Boy. I was saying I'd never seen it.
I've never seen Grandma's Boy either. So there's a weird crossover with you and I, because you haven't seen a lot of those aughts bro-y comedies. Mm-hmm. I feel like I kind of... when those movies were coming out, that is when I worked at a video store. So I was talking to everyone about every new movie all the time. And so when that's the case for you, for better or for worse, sometimes working in a video store means you see more, but oftentimes it means you take less risks because you're getting everyone's input and you're really curating. So I only saw the hits. Like, I only saw Anchorman, Wedding Crashers, like The Hangover, really the good ones, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, sometimes when you or later are like, oh yeah, I had a friend who loved... epic movie. I'm like, what? No, that's not the same as Anchorman. I don't know.
Oh, you're saying that me criticizing.
You saying like you had a dumb, like you knew like a dumb bro you worked with who was a dick and loved this movie and it was really misogynistic and problematic and I'm like,
it all the time as if they were their own jokes.
Yes, and I'm like, no, it's not the same. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Don't do that.
No, you can do it. Reference comedy is the peak of
comedy.
comedy.
No, I just mean whatever.
Check this out.
Like if you're a problematic cis straight white dude and you're quoting movies over and over and over again as if it's your own original thought and it's clever shit coming out of your mouth from your brain, no thank you, bye bye. Especially if no one's asking for it, please read a book.
Well, that seems a little bit, anti-ignorant for people who. Don't want to read. I'm just joking. Actually, I had two.
We don't read books here. Everyone who watches the stream knows
that we're an anti-book house.
And that was a little harsh. Sometimes I get...
No. I think that was funny. I was actually just trying to... That wasn't harsh. I was gonna... Here's my... I have a counter argument.
I'm sweating.
Can you hear my counter argument?
For so many reasons tonight.
My wife... You laughed! And you laughed at it! So don't you tell me it doesn't work.
But see, my wife is like the reason my wife works, I'll tell you why. Because of the rule of repetition. It's that thing in comedy where you repeat something so much it drives you crazy and then you hit a point where it's insanely hilarious.
Do you want to do the horse? Kristen Shaw's a horse. Look it up on YouTube. Kristen Shaw's a horse.
Anyways, so people said my wife so many times that we say it now.
Right. It means it's not actually
like meta.
Well, yeah. Now it's no longer a reference to Borat. It is a reference to people referencing Borat. It's
Also,
a reference to a time in American time.
Also, Borat is like, you know, a brilliant movie.
Evergreen.
And it's evergreen, and it's not like somebody being like, and that's it. All right. You know?
Oh, I like. Okay, I'm sorry, but I like Pathos's. So I didn't realize Grandma's Boy was such a gamer movie. Okay, this is what I was saying. I worked at a video store when it came out, and I had a few friends I worked with tell me, it's not that good, or they were like, it's Adam Sandler-y, and I was like, okay, cool.
So
I didn't watch anything else.
Were like, Grandma's Boy is amazing.
I never saw it, and literally, this is my own fault for being too impressionable in those college days and listening to my friends instead. I should have taken my own advice and watched it for myself and had my own opinion. But I let my friend tell me that I wouldn't like it, and I never watched it. And guess what? I probably would like it because a lot of things people told me that I wouldn't like back in the day I've watched since, and I do like nowadays. There you go.
Did we just pick our movie club?
Chaotic. Maybe it is our movie club pick. Maybe we all need a stoner comedy.
Tonight.
Chaotic. I feel chaotic
I'm normally
good.
Chaotic good. Or sometimes chaotic neutral, but tonight I feel like very much I'm leaning towards chaotic evil.
I'm going to try and be lawful neutral tonight. I'll keep us on track.
Oh.
Pathos is throwing the grandma's hat in. Glowcat has seconded it. I think yes, we'll do it. It's Grandma's Boy.
I love it.
Hey, thank you. That was super fun. Okay, the game I mentioned earlier, the Facebook game, we can put off. Essentially, the Facebook game is that we pick a random genre and then everyone says what their favorite movie is from that. We kind of did that with Stoner.
Yeah.
I think we should continue to do that like every week, like randomly throw one out.
Yes, and also if we on the topic of genre, this is just something that I want to remember that I put up on the shelf a while ago and I'm taking down to look at and go, "Oh yeah, I'm going to put it back up here." We were talking about genre theory a few weeks ago, and I was saying, are Hallmark movies a genre?
Yes.
They are, right?
I think that I have a lot. Okay, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I apologize for this. It's not something I'm proud of, but I did go to film school for theory, and
This is sparkling water.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. But I want to tell you that the chair of my department and who was also my advisor and a person I took like 4 or 5 seminars from is one of the expert on the musical, and more specifically on genre theory as it formed through the 20s through the 50s. And I have that very drilled into me, and I very much look at things through the lens of genre, and I love trying to conceptualize where genre bends, where it breaks, what doesn't classify as anything, and what might surprise us based on, like, frankly, kind of like a rigorous breakdown of how the movie is structured and what it contains. And yes, I think that certain directors become genres. I think Tarantino is a genre. I think that Wes Anderson is a genre.
Yeah.
I think that Bond movies are a genre. Even though you could say, no, they're spy movies, but I think they're distinct enough. There can be pocket genres, and I think, yes, absolutely Hallmark. You could say they're rom-com, but they have other elements that make them.
Yeah,
anyway.
I was using that as an example because you had kind of broken down, you know, the tenets of genre, and I just went, so like a Hallmark movie?
Right.
And then we were like, oh, that's interesting. Like, it's interesting to think about, like, and then we kind of spun off from there, talking about directors as genres and blah blah blah. And I just think kind of doing thinking about that as we move through the movie store, the video store here is interesting.
We also talked about doing like sprints in terms of like or marathons, I should say, not sprints but marathons in terms of movie types. Like I think we talked about having like a Studio Ghibli week. Maybe we can do that in a few weeks. Different, and the thing is, interestingly, I don't think Studio Ghibli movies are the same genre.
They're an umbrella, a blank.
It's a studio.
Yeah.
It's a brand. I don't know. It's a difference. It's weird. Are Marvel movies a genre? Kind of not. Are MCU movies all the same genre? Kind of not. I don't know. There's a lot to break down there that I think is super fun. Oh, Pathos mom loved watching Lifetime. Whenever she put them on, I'd hear her laughing and how dumb they were. That's so sweet.
That's really sweet.
I love that. Well, shall we get into new arrivals?
Yes, we shall.
Arrivals. My wife.
I think completely off the deep end.
I think you need this. You've been sick.
I have been lonely. I've been stressed, and now I just can't stop giggling.
I feel like you're coming back. Coming back to us.
Kill our cat. I'm just laughing until I'm crying.
Oh, by the way, good news on that front. The owner of the dog, who's a very close friend of ours and going to be a future roommate, is also a past roommate, is also the person who introduced us.
I thought you said a pastor.
No. I'm an online pastor, though, if you need that. I have married friends before. I've married friends to other friends, not married friends. Good news. He said that he is going to talk to his backup about a place to board the dog for a few weeks, and we might be able to get Spooky babysitter for a week. We're going to make it work. Okay? So tonight we can just call him. Hey, it's new arrivals time. We got some fun stuff in the mail. I got a big old box of tapes from a wonderful account on Instagram called VHS Retro VHS World, who is a cat named Rick Flory, who is a wonderful independent seller of used tapes. I also got just say a big sad thing to anyone who knows how sad this is. There was a beautiful copy of Larry Cohen's The Stuff, original VHS copy on eBay last night for $25. I decided I'd wait until the morning. It's gone. The closest to it is a cut box for $50. If anyone has a lead on the stuff, I let it slip through my fingers.
You gotta reach out and grab it.
I know, you gotta grab it. Okay.
Seize the moment.
But I wanted to I got a big box of videos. I don't want to go through all of them individually. So I picked my 3 that I think are the coolest and most interesting tapes that we got. And then we got some cool box sets. So I'm going to go ahead and go through them. Flory's about to buy some stuff from Glovecat. Dude is rad. Yes. Great job, nerds. Okay. Let's explain and provide some context for that comment. That grenade you just threw in the chat. Yes, and Pathos. It took us 90 minutes to get to new arrivals. You're fine. It's a friend of mine who I've done a lot of music with. He is a very political, very active filmmaker and rap artist who does very brazenly anti-fascist work and very anti-racist work. He has a bright white dog, and he has a running joke that his dog is a raging racist. It's funny if you know him and follow him on Instagram. Mm-hmm. It's a good dog. You're fine. You're fine. Do not apologize. Great job, nerds. Okay. So, got 3 really cool tapes, 3 pretty cool box sets, and 1 really cool prop. So let's start off. This was the cream of the crop for me, Jive's Greatest Rap Video Hits. Now, this video was put out in 1990, and there is also a follow-up that comes in an identically designed blue box that is Jive's Greatest Rap Video Hits Volume 2. This was also released in an alternate that included an X-rated video. I think that just means it had some topless ladies dancing in it. That is not this one. That is the rarer one. I don't want to pay what that one is worth. This one is rad as hell. We got music videos on here from Houdini, Too Short, Boogie Down Productions, aka BDP, My Philosophy, one of the greatest songs of all time. Cool Mo D, How You Like Me Now, Skinny Boys, to contrast the Fat Boys, Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, in a deep cut, Brand New Funk, Steady B, and Schoolie D. 1990. This is sponsored by the Stop the Violence movement. Stop the Violence movement was a hip-hop movement to put a curb on gang violence that was motivated by record labels and hip-hop industry. I'm so stoked. I mean, if you know me, you know I love hip-hop. You know I love hip-hop history, especially 90s hip-hop. And, I mean, I taught a course on hip-hop history not too long ago at Cold Town. Super fun. I am what they would call a hip-hop head. I'm what some people call an old head. Very excited to put this on and jam out to it. Stacked indeed.
Yes, and I also want to say to Great Job Nerds' point, I think that actually what was happening is that the dog was seeing Spooky and thinking it was a projection of himself as a child and was having an existential crisis. Spooky
also looks like a little bunny.
No, that's for sure what it was. I was just,
Yeah, Houdini indeed. This is like the mix. Oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? The tapes, Mr. Magic. Anyway, there's a lot of really cool stuff around the end of the 80s, early 90s that we take for granted that hip hop is the largest cultural force in the world in 2021. There was a period of time in which it was very much looked at as a fad that was going to go away, where people thought, no one's playing instruments, this isn't going to stick around. And it was tapes like this from rap magazines, as well as cassette tapes that made the rounds as bootlegs from Mr. Magic that spread it first from New York, then to spots like Detroit and Chicago, and throughout the Midwest, and of course West Coast. So I just eat this shit up. Cool. Second tape is Super Cop 2. So this says on the front, and Jackie Chan as Inspector Chan. It's a Michelle Yeoh vehicle. I love Michelle Yeoh. We've talked about her before. This box, I think, somewhat very diminutively refers to her as the female Jackie Chan. I don't think that's fair. She is her own Michelle Yeoh. She's a legend in her own right. Very true. But Jackie Chan had a huge success with the Police Story movies. Maybe top 5 action movies ever made, or at least the first Police Story. Police Story 1, Police Story 2, and then Super Cop, which was distributed by Miramax and the Weinsteins, which helped break Jackie Chan out in the U.S., along with other things like Rumble in the Bronx. Super Cop is Police Story 3, and Super Cop 2 is a spin-off from that, which the Chinese title of this movie is Police Story 3.2. So, Part 2. So, love it. Can't wait. Never seen it. I know this is an American edit because it's the Weinstein's version, and that always feels like it's kind of got like a stink on it. But it is directed by Stanley Tong, and it is Michelle Yeoh. So, I'm stoked. Also, it's a former Blockbuster copy, which is always fun to come across. Finally, I like to collect videos from the Connoisseur Video Collection. Any distribution company that was operating in the 80s and 90s, that's primary goal was to preserve foreign films and art films, I really like to collect. Now, Breathless obviously is very available. It's been released several times, including in a really nice version by Criterion. This is not my first copy of Breathless, but I love this company, and to be honest with you, I love the way it looks on the shelf next to the other ones in the series.
Yeah, it's a nice spine.
It is a nice spine. And one thing, now this one is very widely available, but one thing I will say is that a lot of tapes from this company, as well as from New Yorker Video, Embassy's International Collection, there's a lot of little imprints that were putting a lot out, and many of these movies are not available anywhere else. In fact, you may like the French filmmaker Robert Bresson, who did Pickpocket. What else did Bresson do? The Children Are Watching Us. Bresson made an amazing movie in the 70s called A Gentle Woman. That movie is only available on tape, and it's like $70 now. And I got it for like $3 from the video store I worked at. This is why I'm a huge proponent of archival stuff on tape. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I love. Yes, I did too, Glowcat. I remember seeing that. I remember I was like 15. I was probably the first time I ever saw a movie with subtitles in theaters. Ooh, I need to check out Twin Warriors and Tai Chi Master, because that is not on my list, and I didn't realize she and Jet Li were both in that. It's awesome.
Same.
Yeah. And yeah, I love her in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon because she's already, what is that movie? 2000, I think? 2000? I mean, it's sitting right there. We can look. Actually, it's right below Broken Embraces there in that stack, if you're able to. I know, it's kind of weird getting stuff in the stacks. So I want to show y'all something. This is my copy of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon on DVD from 2000. I bought this in high school with lawn mowing money, and if memory serves me right, please be in there, Yes. It includes
Oh!
my ticket stub from when I saw it in theater. It's torn to shit, but I promise at some point this said Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And I love how Michelle Yeoh is already a legend, and in this movie plays like the old master, kind of. This is one of the very first DVDs that I ever bought. In fact, just the other day, I stumbled across my Amazon list that I made in high school of movies I own on DVD when I was like a little collector, and there were only about 10 on that list, and it was this, The Matrix, Full Metal Jacket, and a few other ones.
Oh.
Anyway, dang, yes. Oh, dang, people walked out because it had subtitles? Well, they just weren't ready, were they?
They weren't ready.
Weren't ready for this jelly.
Get out of the kitchen.
All right. 1993, Jet Li, Shaolin Monk. Oh, you sold me, Pathos. Mm-hmm. I love how much we learn from you all. It's really wonderful.
I agree.
Okay, let's get into the box sets real quick. First of all, hey, I recommend this. I think it's still on sale. It was $25. The Omen box set from Shout Factory. First of all, I just love the, like, nice construction of Shout Factory box sets and the hard box they use. It's got some beautiful art, and it's got the Blu-ray copies of The Omen, 1 through 4, as well as the remake from a few years ago. My favorite thing here has to be, though, that the tagline on Omen 1 is "You have been warned," and the tagline on Omen 2 is "The first time was only a warning."
I thought I'd stop my giggling.
No, bring it back. So anyway, this is on sale right now. I recommend it if you're an Omen fan. Second of all, I think I mentioned that we finally got a region-free player, which means we were finally able to pick this up. The Hellraiser set from Arrow. I'm a big fan of Hellraiser 1 and 2. I've actually never seen Hellraiser 3, so that's definitely going to be needing to happen. But there's a box set from Arrow called the Scarlet Box, which is like this super collectible version of this. It's out of print. It's way expensive. But this is still in print. And if you have a region-free player, it's still in print, and it's a decent price. So I'm going to be honest. I don't like the art very much on these. I wonder if they have reversible sleeves. They do. I'm definitely flipping it around to give them their original art. Here's Hellraiser 1. Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, and Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. Have you ever seen the Hellraiser movies? Mm-mm. Well, I think we'll maybe wait until Halloween time, but these are real fun.
We gotta go to space.
We gotta go to Jason.
We gotta go to Manhattan and then go to space.
We gotta go to Manhattan, hell, and then space.
Oh. What about Jason in a submarine?
Oh my God, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. But what if
Pay me. What
if his machete punctures the side and then they all
Yeah, that's why it's even more insane.
I'm so sorry. Hero was dope. I saw Hero in theater. I gotta tell you though, Hero is a director named Zhang Yimou, who is a famous Chinese filmmaker. The most recent thing he did, I think, was Great Wall with Matt Damon, which was really interesting because Great Wall got held up as an example of whitewashing, but it was actually a Chinese market creating a movie and asking for a Hollywood guy to be in it. So it's one of those things where, like, you're making the point with the wrong example. Zhang Yimou, though, is very state-sponsored media filmmaker. He goes back and forth. One of his masterpieces is a movie called To Live, which explores what it was like for Chinese people surviving the communist revolution, and it's critical of the government. But then he also gets his budgets from the government. Hero is state propaganda, and it's funded state propaganda from the Chinese Communist Party. It is CCP propaganda. I remember seeing Hero in theaters and thinking, this is great, but this is also like very pro-Chinese militarized government. And that is true. And the reason is that this is maybe a poor example, but just how Richard Linklater gets to make his weird indie films and then he goes and makes a Hollywood movie and goes back and forth, Zhang Yimou is able to make his indie sensitive character-driven movies by making giant action movies for the Chinese government. And they're colorful, they're beautiful, but ultimately they are about solidifying they're about the one China, ultimately. I like how Wedge saw The Omen in theaters, and was scared but didn't know if it was good or not. Oh, interesting. The Omen remake is 1-1. Maybe that's why Wedge felt that they were scared but didn't know if they liked it. Maybe it was just hit all the right beats but didn't feel the right energy.
That just made me think of, to circle back to earlier with the Neat, thinking about Midsommar and how when I was like talking about that movie, I was like, I don't know if I liked it, but it made me feel awful.
Right.
Anyways, I when he was originally talking about that, I wanted to ask, with the director's cut, with no spoilers, I think everyone on the chat currently has seen it, but does it change the context of the ending at all?
That's a question for you. Great job, nerds. Wedge is shouting out, Pathos is shouting out Fearless, which I've never seen. Wedge, I'm right there with you. Wedge is shouting out Lethal Weapon 4. I do not remember thinking it ruled the last time I saw it, but I'm an open-minded guy. I will watch it again. I love the Lethal Weapon movies. I remember feeling like 4 was a cash-in with Jet Li thrown in to make it fresh. Maybe it's that and it's good. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't seen it for like over 10 years. What does my opinion matter on it? Absolutely nothing. However, I will say, while we're talking about favorite Jet Li movies, I want to shout out Luc Besson's very underrated 2004 movie, Danny the Dog. I am so stuffed up for some reason. Danny the Dog, which was released as... what was Danny the Dog released as over here? Something. Unleashed.
Ow.
Did you ever see Unleashed?
Mm-mm.
Unleashed is... Bob Hoskins, you know Bob Hoskins, Mario from Super Mario. Bob Hoskins, he's probably somewhere cursing me for referencing that as his. Bob Hoskins is an amazing British character actor. He plays the villain in it. Jet Li plays the lead, Danny the Dog, and basically he is kept on a collar and he's trained from a young age to be an expert fighter who's treated like a dog who is unleashed on people who refuse to do this mob boss's bidding. But he starts to find his humanity, and it's cool because it's a Luc Besson movie, so it's got that like character heart to it, like Leon does, or like La Femme Nikita does. But it's also a showcase for Jet Li to bend his martial arts in a crazy way because he's fighting like a caged animal. So it's all of his proper training filtered through a very messy, almost MMA style, real fun movie.
Yeah, we got some love for Bob Hoskins in the chat. Also, we were just talking about Hook.
Yes. Okay, I don't want to go down the Hook road just yet.
Well, no. I'm just saying, you know.
He is Smee. He's so good. Bob Hoskins is so good. Oh, I know what I should have referenced for Bob Hoskins. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
That's Bob Hoskins. That's my favorite BH role, personally. Okay, final thing.
Don't try and stop me, Smee.
That's right.
Don't try and stop me, Smee.
Final thing for the new arrivals.
What are you doing? Stop me.
Are you referencing Hook?
Yeah.
I don't understand that reference. No, go on. Somebody stop me.
Oh, man.
My wife. It's like a button.
I'm broken.
It's like a button.
I'm broken.
This is the last thing. I wish that I could. I wish that I could tell y'all that this is still a good deal. Much love to the homie Jason Pollard. He is the co-host of a wonderful podcast that we've both been guests on. We've dropped it. We've referenced it here before. It's called A Night with the Stars. My episode was talking about Josie and the Pussycats, and yours was...
Mine was about Sleepless in Seattle.
And the concept of the show is that Jason talks about the movie with you, while the other host, Jen, talks about the astrology of the characters in the movie and your astrology and why you might like it. Super fun to do, super fun to listen to. Jason Pollard DM'd me on Twitter with a link to this and said, hey, do you already have this? Deep Discount has it on sale today. For reference, this is a Hammer box set. It's got 20 Hammer films on Blu-ray. A lot of really good stuff on here that I've never seen. And a lot of awesome stuff. From Revenge of Frankenstein to Pirates of Blood River, Camp on Blood Island. Just a lot of awesome stuff from the UK horror studio Hammer. For reference, this was on sale as a pre-order for $70 some months ago. It came out. I never really wanted to spend the $70-$80 on it. I got a DM from Jason. On deepdiscount.com, it was $20. Turns out that was a pricing error, and they canceled a bunch of people's orders, but not mine. I somehow snuck through the crack, so thank you, Jason, for getting me that info, because I ordered it, and it got here for $20. $1 a movie ain't bad for a set like this. And I can't wait to... Really, all of these are horror box sets, and I can't wait to dive into them come October.
That's a big stack.
That is. And then finally, y'all... Okay, let's... let me rip this off, then we'll get back to Midsummer real quick. Finally, this came in the mail. This might be one of the sillier things I've ordered for myself.
Which, by the way, Adam came into the other room and was like, hey, should I get this thing? And I said, absolutely.
She was very supportive.
It was like 100%.
And it was, I think it was like $12. It was not, I did not pay prop price, but I'm going to treasure it and I'm going to frame it. This is, now I'm a huge fan of Disney World, Disneyland. I'm also a huge fan of the Muppets, and I'm a huge fan of Kodak, and this kind of hits all three. So, and I'm a huge fan of 3D movies. This is I'm going to get it close, but I'll tell you what it is first. This is an employee badge from the Muppet Vision 3D 4D ride at Disney World, which I got to do once as a kid. It's essentially a Muppet movie that you watch in 3D where bubbles come out of the seats, water sprays you. It's super fun. It's an hour-long interactive Muppet movie. And all the employees, all the Disney World employees who man the ride wear this badge, which is a security clearance badge to be at Muppet Labs. And I'm going to show it to you. I'm really... so this is an employee prop from Disney World. I'm going to frame it. I love it. I'm going to show you.
Show it off.
Show it off.
Look at that.
Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute with a little...
Look at that Kermie.
Look at that Kermie with that stamp. Anyway, that is definitely going to go in a little frame. We love our little frames around here. This whole room is decorated in tiny little movie memorabilia and tiny little frames. Okay, cool. I'm going to grab myself a second beer for the second hour of the stream. A, do you need anything? And also, do you need anything?
I'm good.
Well, that was my new arrivals portion, and as usual after doing new arrivals, I need to refresh my voice.
You can... I'll take another one of these.
Sounds like you needed something then.
My wife. My wife.
My wife.
Okay, I want to see what Great Job Nerd said about Midsummer Director's Cut. Certain parts of the regular cut that came off as silly felt more tragic and upsetting, and things that were kind of frustrating felt much more satisfying. See, I'm interested. I know that y'all heard me ramble about Midsummer when we watched that originally for this stream. I'm intrigued. I don't know if I could watch the director's cut. I have to be totally honest with my anxiety. But someday maybe, with the right medication and the right therapy, all things are possible. Pathos, I can somehow sing a mean Jessica Rabbit's Why Don't You Do It Right? I would love to hear that. Also, I miss making props. I remember a while back we were talking about, you dropped some photo links to really cool props and cosplay that you had done, because I was talking about my sister, who's a big cosplay person and makes props and goes to Comic-Con, and we used to go to Comic-Con at least. But, let's see. Okay. It's just a much better, and sorry if you can hear the AC going real loud tonight. We had the window cracked for the cat while he was in here, because he really loves sitting in open windows, and really thought it would help comfort him, but it is loud. So anyways, let's see. It's just a much better movie. I did walk away from the original cut like you did, Steph. I liked what I saw, but wasn't sure if it was very good. There was a lot that frustrated me. The director's cut just gave me all the character development I wanted out of the original. Again, that sounds so intriguing. I'm very curious about how it would change my perspective on the movie. At this point in time, probably not ready to give it a rewatch, but I like the information. I'm keep my mind open,
Would you be willing to put yourself through that again?
I don't know.
I
was just saying.
You were shaken.
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare that
Yeah.
I've seen anyone have. I mean, I don't know I know the last movie I had a reaction like that too, because we talked about it on the show, and I don't need to bring it up again. Mm-hmm. It was the guinea pig movie. Mm-hmm. But you were legitimately like, that movie was like not healthy for you.
Yeah, something about it just touched a nerve with me.
Touched a nerve. Being a real Minerva.
Okay, if you could teleport a beer to Pathos, I think we'd be good. And it sounds like Great Job Nerds walked away much more satisfied and identifying with Danny. Very curious again. I'll keep this all in mind for the future, if and when I can stomach a rewatch with the director's cut. Pathos, thank you for dropping. It's like a button.
Wait, that's been there. That's not even a new comment. That's a comment that's like from before I went to get us drinks.
I just looked at it again.
I love you. This is very wholesome, I feel like. After almost 3 weeks of being sick with different ailments and us being in the middle of finding a spot and our guest dog trying to kill our cat tonight, you let it out. You laugh at the dumbest shit you want to. I kind of want to watch Anchorman tonight. Is that wrong? No. I kind of want to, like, if we do set genre themes for our weeks ahead, and we are trying to enter into this world. Now, I know 420's in April, but who cares? What do y'all think about trying to watch some silly stoner comedies? Because we have been talking about, like you said, getting you caught up on some of the stuff that was like touch points for our generation.
Reacclimated. A new perspective.
Yeah.
I was just saying, when we were talking about stoner comedies, how, I have so many missing from my
Welcome, Pathos.
catalog, that when I was talking about Knocked Up, I was like, I don't even know if I'd like that movie anymore.
It's an interesting rewatch. I will say I've watched it pretty recently, and I still like it. I definitely have less patience for the bloated, let them improvise for 15 minutes. I think, honestly, weirdly, taking improv classes and doing improv shows has made me less patient with improv in movies than I used to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, cool, cut the stuff that you don't need. Anyway.
I get that.
I still think it's good. It's definitely like...
when I watched it originally, it was before I started doing improv, so I haven't seen it since.
Well, and that's not even... To be fair right back at you, that's not even a problem I have with the movie. I'm just saying, with any Judd Apatow thing, I feel like I wish Judd Apatow made 2 versions of every movie. One is you get final cut, bro. 2.5 hours. You do what you want.
A non-director's cut.
You make your epic version. Exactly. You make your epic version of it. You do your thing. I will watch that one time, and I will enjoy it. But then I need you to give me a 95-minute version of that movie where I can just watch that just to watch the movie without watching your friends goof off for 40 extra minutes. Yeah. Whatever. Judd Apatow has done wonderful things for comedy. He also pushed... It's not... Is that weird, rambly energy back? Judd Apatow changed the face of comedy, and I don't think he is responsible for the bad stuff that came from that any more than anyone is for being influential. Yeah. Any more than the Wachowskis are responsible for bad action movies from the 10 years after The Matrix. Like, yeah. He created a standard in which R-rated comedy... Like, the R-rated comedy before then was predicated on being grossed out. And he really just took what the Farrelly brothers had been doing in the 90s and polished it up and gave it to improvisers instead of movie stars.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that, on that note, and also thinking kind of backwards from what we were saying before about using television, specifically sitcom, as an avenue into filmmaking, he kind of did the reverse and really changed the landscape for comedy short form television. And did so in large part by taking people he thought were interesting writers and interesting actors and interesting comedians with strong and different points of view, or under the umbrella of being like white, but
wait, what?
Oh, I was saying,
Oh, he had a diverse group of people for them mostly being white dudes.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah.
Diverse voices.
Yeah.
Even though still Sign of the Times not as inclusive.
Yes.
I see what you're saying.
Like, when Girls came out, it was like, oh my god, whoa.
That's interesting. Because when you say you said he went from movies to sitcoms in reverse, I'm thinking I disagree because Freaks and Geeks and Undeclared are what came before the movies.
He went like this.
It's almost like television was the format he loves.
Yeah.
And you can tell it, and in TV you do get to stretch out with your jokes more because you do a bunch of episodes.
Yeah, like that's what I think with the movies. It's like he's almost trying to make like a mini series.
You're right.
Like, why is this 3 hours long? This could be like a season.
Yeah.
This is a season. But I will say on that note, it did get canceled. I did very much enjoy Crashing.
Crashing was great. I loved Crashing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. No, I like Judd Apatow. I guess what I'm saying is,
I don't know why.
Not all Judd Apatow. I wouldn't call.
It's a square rectangle situation.
Right. That's a good way to put it. Because I was gonna say, I don't think when I say stoner comedy, I don't mean the main characters have to be stoners. I simply mean screwball or goofball or bro comedy from the aughts. I feel like it would be an interesting thing to try and watch through. Mm-hmm. You haven't seen Anchorman in several years, if ever?
It's been a very long time.
Like, I haven't watched a lot of those movies for over, 10 years. I feel like I was right there when they were coming out. I was watching them. I thought they were funny. I would rewatch Anchorman. I would rewatch Old School. Clearly, we're going to do Grandma's Boy.
Yeah, I would too. I'd go down that.
I would love to give those movies, like I want to do with every movie that we talk about on this show, give it the respect of a fair shot and an academic mindset and see what it was capturing from its time, mm-hmm. how it's influenced by the politics and pop culture of its time, and what it has to offer now, and where it falls into a cinematic history, specifically in regards to film comedy.
Yeah.
We just watched Bridesmaids. We talked about that last week. Bridesmaids and Paul Feig, I feel like, would not be here without Judd Apatow. Mm-hmm. And to answer your question earlier about Knocked Up, because you were saying how does it hold up? You hadn't watched it in a while. I was saying it's a little too fat. Plot-wise, but overall, Judd Apatow does a thing with his scripts where 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up both do this, where the women serve as vehicles to whip the men into shape, and they're kind of joyless, and the men aren't seen as fully themselves until they shed their childish ways. And I feel like they're very binary movies. And I gotta say, as a man who very much believed that I could live the life I wanted while also collecting a shit ton of toys, I was always like, hey, you don't have to get rid of that to be a grown-up. Yeah. And I remember my girlfriend in college watching Knocked Up being like, how come Katherine Heigl's such a buzzkill this whole movie? She never gets to have any fun. None of her friends want to have fun. So I do think they're a little reductive, but I do think as comedies they're important. I would love to rewatch them. Yeah. Also, I want to rewatch Due Date. Have you seen Due Date?
I don't know.
That's what's the guy's name? He was nominated for an Oscar for Joker. Oh my God, Joker guy. Todd. Oh. No. Yes. No. I keep wanting to say Todd Solondz, but that's obviously wrong.
Sorry.
I would actually watch some Todd Solondz comedies from the aughts too, because I feel like they take the idea of gross out humor and flip it in a way that makes it too real. Like, when's the last time you watched Storytelling or Happiness or Welcome to the Dollhouse?
Yeah.
Phillips. Thank you, Vinny.
All right, we just went off on a tangent. However, I think it's an interesting segue into Movie Club.
Ace Ventura. That's a good. I mean, I would say that's more of a '90s goofball comedy. I'm sorry, but I do think that. I'm thinking about a specific. Ace Ventura is so character driven. It's a character comedy. It feels like it belongs more with things like The Mask or Fletch. Things where the main character is a goofy character and we follow them for that reason. Whereas I think the comedies I'm talking about are more about men who are meant to be surrogates for the proxies for the audience and meant to be guys who are just fucking funny with their bros and get high, dude. And it's meant to court to that audience. I think movies of this aughts period of male comedy are about creating the cool, charming Paul Rudd guy that you can see yourself in and you can be like, that's just like me and my friends are. Whereas maybe something like Ace Ventura is more, we're laughing at this absurd character. But, Todd Phillips' Due Date is what he followed up Hangover with, and Due Date is actually more of a drama than a comedy, but it was advertised as a comedy. It's got fantastic performances from both Zach Galifianakis and RDJ in it, and I think it's super slept on, and I think it might be his best movie. Anyway, I didn't care for Joker that much, but I think it's great. And if you want to redeem an Adam freestyle, you totally can. I don't have my oh yeah, and Glowcat once again. Judd Apatow movies are automatically stoner comedies. You can redeem that if you want. I do not have my mixer set up, so I would have to play a beat off the computer, and it would sound a little weird. But I'm down. All right, Hangover Trilogy. I really love Hangover Trilogy. I love all of them. I saw Hangover 3 at a theater in Miami Orlando, because I was there working video for a tech conference. We're actually the dad of a mutual friend of myself and Great Job Nerds. I really like the Hangover Trilogy, all three of them. I think they are just great. Okay. Do we have a question of who's the best Joker? Joker Heath, Jack Nicholson, okay. Hot Tub Time Machine. I think we watched that together.
We watched that pretty recently, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun one too. Yeah, and they all kind of have the same thing where, like, it's like they've got a heart of gold, they're about being a good person, but they're about partying a little hard too. And they're also going to have some moments where it's funny if you're anything but a white straight man. And you just wish you could take those. You just wish you could say, be better. I wish you wouldn't make that joke. But you can't change history, and you just have to say, well, hopefully we don't do that in comedies anymore. I mean, that's a very privileged assessment from my point of view of, anyway, nosedive. Take it.
Keelan. Also, Glowcat says that Hot Tub Time Machine 2 is actually pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah, I would watch that. I mean, the first one's great. What up, Keelan?
Hi, Keelan.
I mean, yeah, I think I'll say what I've always had to say about Batman movies and Jokers and whatever. If you're a Batman fan, it's the dog. If you're a Batman fan, you are in luck because you have everything. You have gritty realistic. You have over-the-top animated. You have neon-colored camp. You have original 60s colored camp. You have old serial storytelling. Similarly to Joker, you got everything from cartoonish to horrifying to a mix of the two. And I honestly, I don't know if I even care to pick a favorite, because I just am like, I like Batman and Joker. I'm interested in your story. And I think that's the beauty of the comic book format that maybe is just starting to be realized, is that the beauty here is that we get to experiment. We get to treat the characters like genres and play with that. All right. Remember the Titans. Y'all, I have such a weird story with Remember the Titans. I have to tell y'all, when I was in high school,
I'm going to listen through the wall.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I cut you off earlier.
No.
Oh, you were trying to segue to Movie Club.
No.
And I just wasn't letting it go yet.
It's fine.
I'm going to put on my Muppet security badge while I talk about this.
I'm just going to make a note about how... Well, we'll talk about it later.
All right. So, y'all, when I was in high school, Disney showed up at my high school with a little statue. And it was an award for my football... I wasn't on the football team, but it was an award for our school's football coach. That was the Remember the Titans Award. And basically, it was a made-up award where all you had to do for your coach to win it was go to their website and submit, and then they randomly picked people. So it was kind of like a sweepstakes almost. Anyway, some player on the team did it. The coach got picked, and they came through. And what they did was they made us all go there, and then they did a whole ceremony about Remember the Titans and this award for great coaching. And then they made us watch a 15-minute extended behind-the-scenes trailer for Remember the Titans. It was super recruitment vibey and super like corporate synergy vibey, and it really turned me off to that movie because I was like rebellious teen. I was like, what's Disney trying to shove this down my throat? Anyway, long story short, too late. I haven't watched it since then. it was not a movie I grew up with because I'm a little older than that. So I would really like to go back and watch that again as well. I just remember it feeling like it was like very Disney at the time and not being into it. But also, I was a cynical ass 17-year-old and I'm twice as old as that now. So let's watch it, y'all. What up, Keelan? You're amazing. No, you are the one who is amazing. Ooh, a community pick. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, that's fun. A community pick. All right, let's toy with that idea.
Ooh.
I would have to redo my template for our weekly Instagram post. No, that's a great idea. I feel like if the chat gets organically energized about a movie that everyone wants to watch together, that can either be our movie club pick or we can introduce the idea of a community pick. I'm really down for like, maybe we could make it a preferred customer pick, you know, since we're a video store. Like I've known video stores that did that. They like give their regulars a shelf.
Yeah.
I love this idea. Thank you for pitching that. That's very fun. Any Given Sunday. Holy shit, I want to rewatch Any Given Sunday. I distinctly remember not demanding, but being in high school visiting my brother who's older and like, can we go to Blockbuster, please? I want to rent Any Given Sunday. And my brother being like, geez, you really like movies, don't you? I was like, yes. Are you paying attention? That's also where I bought...
Have you ever heard me speak?
Yeah, that's also where I bought a VHS copy of Christopher Nolan's Following and a nice, shiny... it had just come out on tape and been put out because Memento had been such a big hit. Any Given Sunday... I would love to watch. Well, okay, Glowcat. I don't dig sports movies very much either. Except I find... The weird thing is I find that I do when I get tricked into it. And the reason I like Any Given Sunday is because it's not necessarily about the gameplay. It's about the... Any Given Sunday is like a thriller about the politics of money and manipulation behind the scenes of football. It's Oliver Stone trying to do his expose thing. And, excuse me, that's why I like it. I will say most sports movies that are traditional, like underdog stories, they win in the end, I do get kind of bored by because I see the beats coming. And I think that's part of why, Remember the Titans, like when I was younger and cynical, I brushed it off because I was like, this is like Rudy or anything else like this. But then one day I had a friend describe Rocky, Real Steel, and Speed Racer to me as three of their favorite sports movies. And I said to myself, oh, I love sports movies. I love Rocky, I love Real Steel, and I love Speed Racer. I just anticipate that I'm going to feel out of the blue, or out of the loop with conventional sports because I don't know enough. But the more that I think about it, the more I realize that a sports drama is just a drama with a game grafted onto it. So I'm happy to re-explore any of these.
When we were talking about Whiplash, I was like, this is a sports drama. This is just a sports movie.
Yes. That's the thing with genre. It doesn't have to be about a sport proper to be a sports movie. Speed Racer is a sports movie. Well, it's racing that qualifies, but Whiplash, absolutely. Yeah.
Can I tell you a funny story about Rudy?
Keelan, I love that about you. I feel like that's a good way to be, in the heart.
Yeah, I love that, Keelan.
Also, yeah, pull at my heartstrings. I think that's it. I think the right sports movie can... it can pull at your heartstrings, and I think my problem is that, to be honest, I think it's just that I grew up as a nerdy kid who got picked on by the guys who were into sports until I started playing hockey and feeling like I was good at a sport, and so I feel like I never wanted to like what they liked, and I have to overcome that inner rebellion in me and open my mind because there's probably a lot out there that I'm missing because of that, and I'm far, far past that. I'm a grown-ass adult man who I think can handle enjoying a baseball movie now. Ports? Sprots? Mr. Baseball, that sounds fun. Moneyball is great. See, I don't think Moneyball is a sports movie. And here's where we get into weird genre stuff again. Moneyball is a drama / financial thriller.
Yeah.
And it's really the sports are the backdrop. The Replacements and The Longest Yard. Never saw those. Anyway, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, and I think that Friday Night Lights also. I feel like Friday Night Lights also helped reinvigorate and establish the sports movie again. Like, I think a really good movie, it doesn't matter what it's about. It can suck in people from all walks of life. And I'm not someone who follows professional sports, but I can watch a good football movie and feel in my heart for it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I still... Great job, nerds. Sometime we'll have to tell everybody about the... the time that we were playing touch football on Thanksgiving, and we almost wounded the drunk sextagenarian neighbor who came out and tried to play with us by accident.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me about that.
Happy Gilmore's sports movie. Yeah, totally.
Sports movies just got the chat on fire.
We did. We fired it up. He's on fire. That's a reference to a sports game. NBA Jam. So there. I'm so sorry, honey. I feel manic as shit. I talked all over you. You take the wheel, Jesus.
I'm just gonna...
Jesus, take the wheel. Sorry, you wanted to talk. You had something totally else in mind, and I'm just...
Honestly, I'm like so low blood sugar right now. I'm like...
The dog's also right between us,
right
staring
here
us.
because of the stress. For those of you just joining us, you missed a pretty interesting first half of the stream, to say the least.
We had a bit of an issue with a dog we were babysitting who ended up needing to go home because it and the cat were not getting along. And yes, I like that page. I mean, nothing. There's no. I love that feeling of catharsis, as well. Y'all are really like, you know. It's interesting though. Glowcat, I want to ask you a question because earlier you said that you watched and enjoyed Blood Fist.
Blood Fist.
I was like, Kick Puncher? No, that's from Community. Blood Fist. That would be a sports movie, though, right? Like, the Bloodsport follow-ups, I think, would qualify. So I think that oftentimes, I know I'm guilty of this, I say sports movie, and I'm thinking about soccer, baseball, football. Exactly. Anyway, this is really interesting.
Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks!
D2,
the Duckies. The
Ducks fly
together. Quack, quack.
Quack, quack. Sister Act 2.
Oh, man, we get some love from UltraLoop on Bloodsport. Beer Fest is a sport. See, this is
an interesting thing. And yes, Bloodsport.
There we go. So, Glowcat, yeah, I feel you on that. It's normally not the thing that's going to get my butt in the seat of the theater. But from a genre perspective, it can be about something else. It could be about professional knitting, and it might hit all the same beats of something like Rudy. That's what you wanted to talk about, Rudy. So before Rudy time.
It is the dumbest.
Stop. Rudy time.
Stop. It's Rudy time. My wife. It's the dumbest thing. Like, I think when Rudy came out, I was like, was it 92?
Rudy?
Yeah.
All I know is that it was the only tape my grandma had at her house my entire childhood.
Okay.
And that means it's probably from like 91 or 92.
Okay. I think okay. And I could be remembering this wrong. If my mom were here, I'd ask her, but
93.
I remember that year watching Rudy, and I couldn't. Okay, I got a doll that I was obsessed with. It was a troll doll, and it was a troll dressed up like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I took it everywhere, even though, because I don't know, it was just like so special to me. I didn't have a lot of toys, didn't have a lot of stuff. I was like obsessed with it, and I named it Rudy. And I remember naming it Rudy because of that movie, but I don't remember ever watching that movie.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
I remember the end of the movie where, I won't say.
We all know the end of Rudy. It's
I know.
The poster of Rudy is the end of the movie.
What I'm saying is, do I remember that because of osmosis, or do I remember it because, is it like a Mandela effect thing? Anyways, I remember back then thinking that I'd named the doll Rudy because I saw the VHS sitting on the shelf, but then my mom was like, I thought you named it Rudy because it's Rudolph.
Oh.
And I just had not.
That's really interesting.
It's very dumb. Like I said, it was a very stupid
I think that's a great story. Also, I want you to read what Pathos had to say to you. And Great Job Nerds has a story about Rudy, but more do share. And I am also totally down to do movie club if y'all want to move into movie club. We can bring your story on over. Feel good about it?
I feel good.
We are not hitting the normal beats of our show tonight, y'all. We are on a wild and crazy ride tonight.
And I ate that many eggs.
That is so crazy. But I don't think Cool Hand Luke is a sports movie.
Right.
Rocky is one of the greatest sports movies, and that's one of your favorite movies.
Yep.
I'm surprised that you didn't name it Rocky. Maybe you're just a really smart kid and you got that Rudolph and Rudy kind of like, maybe you thought it was cool, that it was underdog, you felt like you identified with that as a kid, and it was seasonal.
Maybe I'm a secret genius.
You are a secret genius. You're a public genius. Yeah, you're getting some love for Rocky.
Yes.
And by the way, we need to, you know, if we do decide to go on a sports movie, like, honestly, I feel like this week, are we doing bro/stone broner comedies?
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing sports? Do we want to push that off? Because I feel very open. But yes, thank you, Pathos, taking the words right out of my mouth, because Creed 2 is actually a Blu-ray we have sitting on our queue shelf that neither of us have seen. We have the Rocky box set and we have Creed. We're huge fans of it. You're, I think, like I'm a Rocky fan, but you're like a lifer.
When I was a kid, I watched. Well, if you watch this stream, you probably know this. I watched Rocky probably 35 times when I was a kid.
It was like your never-ending story.
It was like my favorite. Like when I was little.
I get you. I love that. You tell them what you did.
I feel like I've said this on the stream before.
But we might have new viewers.
Okay, you probably already know this, but I was so obsessed with that movie. Anytime my dad would be like, "What movie do you want to watch?" I would be like, "Rocky, Rocky, Rocky, Rocky." It was my favorite thing in the world. I wanted to be a fighter. I wanted to be a boxer so badly. I wanted to be like a strong, tough woman. Anyways, the scene where he runs up the steps, the Philadelphia steps, I would always jump up. I would always be like cuddled on the blanket for the whole, the opening where you're just sort of, it's like moody and blah, blah, blah. And when that part rolled around, I was like, here we go. Buckle up. And I would get up and I would run in place and then do this.
That's so cute. So cute.
With him.
Keelan, God bless you for finding the fucking middle.
Talladega Nights.
Oh my God, you're a genius. That's the middle between our sports and our Broner comedies. Yes, I love Talladega Nights. I think that Anchorman and Talladega Nights, honestly, in combination with Tim and Eric, great show, awesome show, great job, revolutionized comedy and gave it the absurdist spin that everyone loves and brought that into it, that meta, weird, post-ironic spin. I love Talladega Nights earnestly and deeply, and I think we got to watch it this week. We're going to watch it because that's it. And then maybe we can use that to segue next week into sports.
What about Grandma's Boy?
Thank you. No. I think Grandma's Boy should be our movie club pick. I'm just saying we should also watch Talladega and Anchorman.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also, real quick question. Is Jennifer Lawrence a genre? I don't think so. Is she a myth? Maybe. I think she's definitely an idea in the sense that all celebrities are. By the way, really great essay on celebrities. I forget what it is. It's in one of these books around here. Really great. There's actually a great classic film theory essay on the idea of celebrity and how celebrities exist both as approachable and mythological at the same time in our minds. I'll find it. Maybe I'll try to bring that next week. Serious question, is Silver Linings Playbook a sports movie? I do not think that it is. I think that it is a drama. Does it?
I think it's a sports movie.
Who plays sports in it?
They dance.
Oh, that's right. Maybe. It's been a while. Yeah, you're right.
It's like very intense physical
you're right.
and commitment and like competition.
All right.
And
I'm fine. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I think it's. All I know is Jennifer Lawrence in that movie awakened me. Boxing movies. The other thing I wanted to ask was...
Being a boxer is fun until you get punched in the face, Pathos. I wasn't thinking that far ahead.
I was going to say, is boxing movies, is this another square and a rectangle situation? Boxing movies are sports movies, but boxing movies are also their own particular animal. And I think that's another thing we could go. I think boxing movies are their own subgenre. And oftentimes do not qualify as sports movies because oftentimes do not have the upturn at the end. I would love to watch The Fighter, which is one of my favorite films of all time. David O. Russell, love him. I would love to rewatch Raging Bull, which I don't think you've seen. And some of the Rocky movies. We could go down a boxing kick as well.
Look. Okay. Boxing kick.
We could go down a boxing kick or a kickball. Will Smith as a genre, I think that's actually kind of an amazing statement. I think that he has like a 5-movie run there where that's absolutely the case.
Yeah, I also want to know, Glowcat, what is your story about Talladega? I'm losing my mind tonight. Talladega Nights. This is the most I've talked in like.
The Myth Become Legend by Mother. I haven't seen Mother.
I haven't seen Mother.
I never saw. I don't really like Aronofsky that much, and I didn't like the trailer, and I just never watched it.
I forget who. Somebody warned me.
I warned you because I saw trigger warnings all over the internet, and I told you should be aware of this. And then I just read more about it, and I prejudged it, which is a rule on the show. We don't do that. We don't judge things till we've seen them. So clearly, I need to listen to my own ass and watch it if I want to have an opinion on it. Okay.
I really like Jennifer Lawrence as a myth, Will Smith as a genre, pantser suggestion.
Now, Wedge, if I don't like Requiem for a Dream or Black Swan, will I like Mother? And this was the question I asked some friends who loved Mother. I get in hot water for this, but I don't love the Aronofsky. I can explain why, but I also don't want to go down me being just a butthole. Glowcat was working. No, you will not. Okay, well, I'm still gonna watch it. I need to. Long story short, I just think that Aronofsky thinks that he has more to say than he does, and uses very shocking methods to tell us that, and I resent it. And I need to put more thought into that before I actually try to deliver any sort of missive his direction. Look at that. I cut our watchers in half with that take. I was working in an AMC theater at the time. I have a tattoo on my hand. I was forced to wear an ace bandage on. That's stupid. I'm sorry. I remember cleaning up after the first show, picked up a large cup, spilled it over the hand, full of pee. Being surrounded by rednecks got to you. Refused to watch the movie for 5 years. I mean, if I had spilled pee on a bandage, like an ace bandage, a cloth, I would also hate the movie that had happened during. Did you read the story?
I did.
Are you just in shock? Where are you?
I don't know where I am. Oh, boy. I was reading the... Okay, I'll tell you exactly where I am and what happened. While you were explaining your thoughts, I was reading... the story from Glowcat.
Wedge and nerds, I love y'all. Thank you for being such good friends and just telling me.
And then while you were discussing the story from Glowcat, I was reading the comments from Wedge and Great Job Nerds and thinking about you and yeah.
I will give it a fair shake. I will. I just don't like traumatic stuff used for simple meaning. That's all. I don't like if you're gonna go there, have something to say. That's all. And I'm not talking about Mother. Okay, I saw Requiem for a Dream when I was like 15, and it fucking shocked me to my core. And I felt so dirty and shaken, and thought it was one of the greatest things I'd ever watched. And then one of my best friends had never seen it before, and when we were 22, we watched it together, and he was shaken because it was his first time, and I was like, "Oh, this shit's hella manipulative." And I was mad at it for being manipulative. And I just don't think I've ever gotten rid of that with the dude.
I'm just laughing at the chat. I'm sorry.
It will be anger. Oh, I love y'all. Oh, man. One thing I sincerely promise to all of you. Maybe the positivity will sometimes wane for stronger opinions. But I swear on the thick Bible that Joe Biden sweared in on that I will never... I will never, ever, ever hold someone's opinion against them. Period. Okay, guys. Do you want to go to movie club?
We already did.
We did. Oh yeah, we did.
Over to movie club so
Will you put the poster up on the screen, please? Thank you, Stephanie. All right, y'all.
Sorry, the cat just moseyed in here. After
Yes, I am
fully traumatized.
Yes, Pathos, you're right. Stephanie, you're right. I'm sorry. I am out of my fucking mind tonight.
You and me both. I'm just sitting back and like, all right, I was just here. Okay.
Okay, yeah, actually, Glowcat, I was surprised at the end credits on this. The music keeps playing, and new credits came up that said restored version 2003. I did a little reading on that, and apparently, yes, it was something that Eli Wallach and Clint Eastwood came back and did some lines over again for the restored English version, which added 4 scenes back in, and they got a sound-alike to do Lee Van Cleef's parts. Look, y'all. Okay. Here, go ahead and we'll do this. There you go. There you go, Pathos.
One of the posters over it, so it's not satisfying.
Right. You can you'll see it in the background. Glowcat, I feel you on that. I like to watch a lot on VHS, but if it's an extended version, especially something like this, which just lives in the widescreen, I was really happy to watch the Blu-ray. Look, where do we start? Seriously, anyone throw out anything on this and we'll start there, because this is a huge, huge movie. I have thoughts, but I feel like the best way to do this is just to kind of like meander through it and see where our thoughts take us.
Yeah, for sure. I think, first of all, yes, we did watch the 3-hour version. I don't know what version everyone else watched. I was going to say earlier when I was saying it's a good segue into movie club, the reason I said that is because we were talking about the interconnectivity of genre and kind of influence and all of this stuff. And I was thinking a lot about, while I was watching this movie, this was my first time seeing The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I thought it was fantastic. But the whole time I was watching it, I couldn't stop thinking about how influential this movie is. And just in such a massive way. And whether that's standalone or the way that it spiderwebs out and other things influenced by that influence other things, like Community, for example, it just had me really thinking about, I took this class in college that was basically like the philosophy of creating art. And it was all about like art as experience and art as influence and kind of art as like a living, breathing thing. And sort of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Not bitter. Cynicism behind people thinking like, oh, everything's derivative. Everything is based on something else, which to a certain extent is true, but this was posing it more as like, see it as everything as a living, breathing, flowing creature,
right?
Being that's like sort of, warming out here and then warming out here. But I was thinking, this has to be one of the most influential films ever made. B, how massive is that influence? How far out does it go? How deep is that well? And then the other thing I was thinking of is it had me wondering, what are the most influential films of all time? When you look top down, like this one obviously is huge because of the way it influenced other directors, the genre, the music.
Can I give you a quick off-the-cuff top 5 most influential movies ever made?
I would love that.
It Happened One Night, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Star Wars, Jaws, and 2001. That's my like off the top of the dome. That's what I think. No, I mean, it doesn't mean I'm right. That's off the top. I had that thought too, Stephanie, of not only the influence moving forward in time, but it's interesting how you say it as the bombing out of the giant organism, because there were comedic elements in this. Jokes when someone would do that were pure vaudeville jokes, which means this movie did not invent everything it's doing. Also, some of its shots it's taking from John Ford.
Yeah, but it put everything together in such a specific way and all under the same umbrella of this movie, of this film. Like, that's
what great art does.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the point of like embracing it as this thing that you can't reinvent the wheel.
Masterpieces are not made from reinvention.
Right.
They are made from understanding of what works and has worked.
Yeah.
And then you toy and then you experiment with the format.
Exactly.
I love it. I mean,
also, I just want to say that the moment that the first, I think we talked about it last night, but the rack at the very, very like opening shot,
yeah.
I mean, immediately you're like, whoa, this feels so special.
Opening shot is just to refresh. And by the way, I saw that Wedge said this was their first watch, one of the best movies they've ever seen. The opening shot, is that beautiful, super wide landscape shot. Someone comes into frame, immediate rack focus on, like, indistinguishable rack focus, invisible rack focus to an extreme close-up, which just tells you right off the bat, the cinematic language of this movie is going to be personal and epic in the same time.
Yeah.
Because this movie... I'm like gonna get emotional. I think this might be the best movie ever made. I don't know if I'm willing to say that. I think I am willing to call it top 5. I also don't even know if I give a shit about categorizing movies that way or if it's pointless. But this movie, an Italian director shooting a movie in Spain with actors from all over the world. Leone came to America to research. I was reading some trivia last night, as I like to do when I really dig a flick, and I was reading some trivia that he came to the U.S. and did a tour of Civil War museums and tried to make this, there are historical inaccuracies. A big one is that dynamite didn't exist when this movie's set, but for the most part, he tried to make it accurate, and I ask myself, how is it that an Italian filmmaker made the most honest movie about the roots of America that I've ever seen? Because the good, the bad, and the ugly are not just three men. They are the three sides of the roots of America. This is our story. This is a story of relentless pursuit of riches and manifest destiny and the gold rush and power and war and genocide. It is also the story of being a trickster and a con artist and surviving by any means necessary and slipping through the cracks, being relentlessly individualistic while also being duty bound to some greater ideal. To understanding the greater ideal is to save the world through the Union Army, but then the actual process of that is this constant self-segregation of ideas. Like, this movie, through its characterization and through the poetic way in which it is framed, is a love letter and a scathing critique of America, and especially of our roots and our history coming from the Civil War. We are born from blood, and all we can do is cynically drag each other trying to, like, oh my God, this movie. Okay, I'm going to shut up for a second. Masterful things, the shots, the editing, the music, the acting. Do enjoy it more than for a few dollars more. I'm going to be watching for a few dollars more this week. Also, Morricone, I think I might be less comfortable saying that this is the greatest movie of all time. I feel pretty damn comfortable saying this is the best score I think I've ever.
Yeah.
I think it might be the best movie score of all time.
Yeah. Morricone is one of the best.
Composers. My wife, Morricone.
Oh.
Morricone.
It's like I go into temporary slumber, and then somebody says my wife, and I'm like,
boom. I'm just putting you to sleep. That's all you're saying. So it's not just that. It's this scale, and something I came to bed you asked me how did the end of the movie feel. We finished it separately, and we kind of we try to wait to talk until the show, but one of the things is like this Homerian. It's epic in a Homerian, like, Odyssean scale, in the sense that it's not necessarily the word epic gets tossed around a lot to mean things like big scale, like the fights are big. Like you could say, look at Godzilla vs. Kong and say it's an epic. I would disagree. I don't think it's an epic. I actually think the scale there is, it might be big, but to me, the classical meaning of epic in the like Iliad Odyssey sense, which are the original epics, an epic is a story that has a lot of diversions. An epic is a story where there is an A to B line, but you're constantly going out of it. And this movie explores the Union labor camps and the abuse of the Union Army. It explores that beautiful, staggeringly huge scene at the bridge near the end. Fun fact, here's a fun story that Eli Wallach recounted. By the way, Eli Wallach, oh my God. Did you know that he improvised the whole scene? He didn't know anything about guns. He improvised that entire picking things up. All the shop clerks' reactions are organic to his performance.
Oh, I did not know that.
Fun fact. Here's another fun fact about the bridge. They let a lieutenant from the Spanish army pull the switch to blow up the bridge as a gesture of respect for there's those extras you see in the movie. That's 1,500 Spanish soldiers. So they shot in Spain, and the Spanish army helped. The command to blow up the bridge was vai, meaning go in Italian, and there was a crewman on the walkie who was talking to someone else and said, go, go, vai, take care of it. The lieutenant thought that was his cue and blew up the bridge, and the cameras were not filming. So the explosion in the movie is a second bridge that they built after that. And the story, I don't know if this is true, but it's like Hollywood legend, or I guess Italian film legend. The story is that the Spanish officers volunteered to use the army to rebuild the bridge under one condition, and that one condition was that Leone unfired the crew member who he angrily fired for ruining it. So they saved the guy's job. They were like, it's an honest mistake, don't fire him, we'll rebuild it, only if you don't fire him.
Wow.
So even that story is something about like the kernel of humanity within this giant masculine violent undertaking.
Yeah. We got a lot of action in the chat here. Let's see what's going out.
Cool. All right. One of my favorite cuts in the film, when Tuco found Blondie, they're both in the hotel. Tuco gets Blondie to put his head in the noose, going to shoot the chair. Slowly pulls up the revolver, focuses on the barrel, and the cannon goes off. Yes! The barrel mash cut.
Yeah. That was great. Yeah, and the music is perfection. And also, who referenced The Thing? Yes, Pathos. Referencing the music for The Thing. Also, obviously brilliant. Wedge, I have to say, the part with the violinist where they can't bear to play anymore, I think he calls it a fiddle player.
I know what you're going to say.
But yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's not the instrument that he's playing.
It's not. But but what I was going to say is that, yeah, that part is heartbreaking. That part is awful to watch. Like, it's funny because the last time we talked about what defines an epic is when we watched Titanic, and we talked about the musicians playing on the deck, and it's just funny that. Anyways, yes, I agree that part is like, oof, that's like, ugh, crushing.
And great job, nerds. I want to say, yes, I did notice that rock. Actually, if you put it in slow-mo, you can see a smaller rock land on the bag immediately to Blondie's head. It almost killed Clint Eastwood.
Did you just Google fun facts about this movie?
I did. It's what I did last night. I absolutely did that.
Like, dang, how do you know all this stuff?
I looked up Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The trivia page on IMDb for this movie is pages and pages long. Like, I got too tired. I couldn't read it all. There are so many fun behind-the-scenes stories. Okay. If this movie is a contender for GOAT movie or top 5, what makes it so?
I mean, I think everyone's been talking about it in the chat. The shots, the music, the pacing, the way that the music and the way it's filmed, the interplay with that, which is part of the reason that the score is so brilliant, because it works so beautifully with exactly what's happening in the film, like in a way that is like not just hear the music swells when this thing happens. It's like, it is like almost mathematical how perfectly it works.
Especially the final showdown, the cutting between the eyes. Speaking of, that was when you said this movie might be the most influential thing I've ever watched, my first thought is, how many times have we seen that showdown copied?
Yeah.
So many. Everything from comedy to earnest, like, ripping off.
Yeah. And is this the...
I'm gonna give the turtles back. I'm sorry. I know Pathos might be bothered by this. I'm gonna give Leo 50 lives. Let him go for it.
Also, the acting, yes. The writing.
Who's your
the directing,
favorite?
like...
Who's your favorite in this movie? Because I have a different answer. I think. Great job, nerds, is setting us up for this. Van Cleef's performance is my fave. Is the bad. Who's your favorite of the three? Or random. Oh, a fun thing about the bad also, I know some trivia. Fun thing is that Lee Van Cleef said that his two hardest, most steadfast rules in life were that he would never hit a woman and he would never kick a dog. And they had to bring in a stunt double for the scene where he slaps the woman around for information on Bill. Because he refused to do it. And the actress was like, I'm a professional, you can slap me, I've done it before. And he was like, nope. And so they had to reverse shot and do it with a stunt double because he refused to hit her.
I think, well, first of all, we've got some, okay, let's circle back here. How much do you think this movie would have changed if Charles Bronson would have accepted the offer to play Angel Eyes? Ask Glowcat.
I don't think it would have changed that much, because I think Leone knew exactly what he wanted to do, but I do think that Lee Van Cleef is just perfect. I think it would have had a little bit more of a campy quality. I know that's a weird thing to say about Charles Bronson. He's known as the tough guy, but Charles Bronson always has like this, to me, like this almost grindhouse quality to him, where it's like his star power as a tough guy kind of supersedes his role and almost is distracting. With maybe the exception of Death Wish, in which he legitimately plays very vulnerable very well for most of the movie. I'm going to grab another drink. I'm going to go ahead and say before I get out, I'm going to say I got to be the third vote here for Tuco after Wedge and Glowcat. Yeah. Oh my God.
Tuco's my fifth. I mean,
Clint Eastwood almost didn't sign on to this script because he was like, what's this other character? He's the main character.
Yeah. I will say, though, about Clint Eastwood, the tiny split-second moment where he's holding a kitten inside of a hat, I was like, I don't care about your fireman posters, your fireman calendars. Just give me a calendar where every month is a still of Clint Eastwood with a kitten inside of the hat in that moment, because... I felt away when I saw that.
You felt the butterflies?
I felt the butterflies.
What did he say to that cat?
I don't even remember. I was blacking
every gun
out.
has its own. Every gun plays its own song. You know, Glowcat, absolutely 100%. You're right. I forgot Charlie Bronson is in Once Upon a Time in the West because it's been years, and honestly, that might be next for me to watch. Henry Fonda's incredible in that. I'm going to go ahead and say then I'm going to revert to my original answer. I don't think it would change much because you're right. I think that time and reputation has mythologized Charles Bronson in a way that feels at odds with the mythology of this movie. But if he was in it, they'd cover him in dirt and it would work. BRB?
Yeah, I think Wedge, I really like. Yes, I would totally agree. Like we've been saying, the reason it's so great is it's bigger than the sum of its parts. Embracing of influences and how influential it was. They allowed the scenes and sets to breathe. I agree. Like Adam was talking about at the top of the stream, the difference between slow and boring and how people can conflate the two. This movie is extremely slow, but in a way that feels like so grounded and compelling, and like it's like bringing you along. It's like very fly on the wall kind of slow. You're just experiencing going down these side streets with everyone with them, just strolling through the film.
And through random violence. The way that this movie makes violence both an inevitability and a shock is very... It, I think, is part of why the slowness works, is because it always feels like something is waiting around the corner. Yeah. So it's a sustained, masterful tension. Yeah. I guess I'm just describing good direction of tension.
Yeah, I also think that to that point, like the callousness with which violence is, like, well, pun intended, I guess, executed in this film. Like, for me, the moment when Tuco is, you know, sort of like, well, dang, I can't crack this cuff. I guess I'll just put this guy on railroad tracks and lay my head down for a minute, and just seeing that shot of that guy, like, boom, 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 under that train, I was like, ah! That's horrific.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's
and it's so
a real stunt that Eli Wallach really did.
Shut up, trivia man.
I know. So I learned a lot last night. First of all, I want to talk about the train real quick, because not only does the train interconnect all the stories, as the westward expansion of the train is the story of America and the violence of the building of America, and I think it's very honest. Also, the shot where they are putting Tuco on that train before he escapes, it tracks through the entire goddamn train station with hundreds of extras, and then moves behind the train in perfect harmony as the train pulls away. Ugh.
Amazing.
These shots are fucking pure cinema. Like, it is light movement. It is light movement and composition. And the sound design, I mean, you know, in Italian films, they don't shoot sound. They put sound in afterwards. Leone is a particular master of sound who embraced this technique. The first 10 minutes of Once Upon a Time in the West is actually a masterclass in sound design, and there's no dialogue spoken in this movie for the first 10 minutes either. But yes, the train stunt is real. That's Eli Wallach. They convinced him it would be safe and said, it's not a big deal, it's gonna work. So they had him actually lay there and ran a real train by Eli Wallach's head. If you slow it down, you can see what they forgot about. Yes, the train was high enough, but the steps to get on the train were not. And if you watch it in slow-mo, you can see those steps clear his head by about 3 inches. So him there and Clint Eastwood almost getting hit with the rock flying off the dynamite explosion. Like, you know, I guess if you want to make a great film, you gotta risk the death of your actors several times. Also, can I just say, with the shot composition, it's that, like, Spielbergian, like, invisibility of style where the camera shows you multiple things without cutting and you don't even notice because the director doesn't want you to notice. I feel like that's almost a forgotten art where a lot of new directors very much want you to notice. They're like, look what I'm doing! Isn't it crazy? I feel like that mark of a master, it's like a classical style, a formalist style. They don't even want you to notice. I'm forgetting my thought, though. So it almost killing them. The thing with the shots, I just want to talk. The train driving away and the track up, like, that's a beautiful, brilliant shot, but I also, like, you can see how it's choreographed. It's not taking anything away, but you can see how, you know, everyone has their marks and they hit them and they get the shot. The one that blew me away, it seems like a nothing, and you might not even notice it the first time, but when Tuco is guiding Blondie through the desert and trying to exhaust him to death, there's a shot where Blondie walks over a dune and struggles and crawls down the dune. And not only does the lighting somehow miraculously keep him lit while also keeping Tuco lit in the bright sunlight at the top of the dune, somehow they're both lit. I don't know how they did that. There's some mastered cinematographer with a bunch of reflecting panels. Okay, but my point is, the shot is Blondie coming down the dune, messing up that sand. You cannot reset that shot. Messing that sand up. One shot at this. Messing that sand up, getting to the bottom of the dune. Everyone's in focus. Tuco clears the top of the dune, then throws his whiskey bottle, which rolls perfectly down next to Blondie. So they had to get the lighting, the timing, not disturb the sand too much, and also have a throw land a rolling bottle in the right place. it's the little stuff like that that, like, it's not drawing attention to itself. It's not trying to be a cool action moment. It's not epically pulling out on a train. It's just one shot that accomplishes like 6 things. Fucking.
And didn't you say
brilliant.
The reason Clint Eastwood didn't come back or almost didn't come back is because the shots were like.
So yeah, that's the reason.
So obsessively.
This is their last collaboration. Mm-hmm. Leone didn't want it to be, but Eastwood had it be. First of all, Eastwood's a bit of a diva. Asked for a big paycheck, wanted the top billing, and didn't like all the shooting. And he also demanded a Ferrari as part of his payment, which is such a funny. It feels so incongruous with the movie to think like this guy playing this loner. But you know what? Maybe it just shows how accurate that movie is about America. Because the American film star who came to be in it, the most famous one, needed to be paid with an Italian sports car to make the Italian movie.
And Glowcat's pointing out that's why Leone moved to Bronson. Yep, and also Wedge saying, yeah, the Union soldiers executing the thief in the town so plainly and so routinely. I agree, especially after obviously making him carry his own coffin. Harsh bananas. But yeah, sounds like we could veer off into a Leone Bronson thing too. Like, we have so many...
Movies are great, guys.
Leone... Ain't that fun?
I can't wait to watch A Fistful of Dynamite with James Coburn in it. Fistful of Dynamite is Leone... also known as Duck You Sucker, is another Leone movie that was packaged with these 3 in a box set years ago, but it's pretty hard to find now. And speaking of the Macross Plus that you picked up from Hong Kong Rescue, that really nice bootlegger.
Sorry.
Oh, I gotcha! He also has a Duck You Sucker / Fistful of Dollars that I ordered, and I can't wait to watch. It's okay. You live your joy, baby.
I thought when you said Duck You Sucker, I thought you had, like... I didn't know what was coming out.
The movie's called Duck You Sucker. It's what it's called.
I thought you were doing, like, one of those old Orbit commercials where she's like, you cootie queen, you lit liquor.
Oh, clean up your mouth?
Yeah, clean up.
I get you.
It's Orbits. Clean up your mouth. I thought you were doing like a moment like that.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see the number of the year. Yeah, Duck You Sucker is 71. So, also known as A Fistful of Dynamite. Holy shit. I didn't realize this movie was so epic. So this is Leone. 71, 2 hours, 42 minutes. So I think we're definitely going to have to watch this. This is about the Mexican Revolution, not the Civil War. Well, goddamn, and score by Ennio Morricone. So,
Ooh, okay.
I gotta be real with y'all. Every time
to the lady in the second row.
I gotta be real. Every time I read about this movie, I definitely, based on the title, Duck You Sucker, thought that it was kind of like a fun, like, minor work from Leone that was like a 90-minute spaghetti western, more exploitation-y. I did not realize it was a similar epic about the Mexican Civil War. Yeah, we're gonna watch that when it comes in. Man. Okay, let's recap a few things here. Tonight is fun, says Pathos. I agree. I'm glad you're having fun. So we got Broner comedies. We got sports movies. We got For a Few Dollars More. I'll just say The Other Leones. Anything else that we've dropped tonight that maybe, excuse me, we want to keep top of mind?
I feel like those were the big ones.
Cool. All right. Well, we know that Grandma's Boy is going to be our movie club pick. I think that we will probably watch Talladega Nights, hopefully. Yeah. He's my favorite. I had a keychain. Okay. I had a keychain in college that said, "If you're not first, you're last," because I was so obsessed with this movie. But then again, I also had a Pussy Wagon keychain from Kill Bill. So what do I know? Grandma's Boy.
Well, I'm excited.
Psycho Goreman, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Ninja Movies, thank you. Good. Yes. Ninja Movies. Yes. So we'll do that, and then.
So we've got Grandma's Boy.
Grandma's Boy is our movie club pick.
Are we going to introduce the idea of a shelf. What am I trying to say?
Like a preferred customer pick?
Yes.
Yeah, I like the idea. I do want to do that. I'm not sure what it would be this week, unless people felt like they fell on one they really wanted.
So then are we
why don't we do that next week when we get to sports stuff, though? Because I think it was Remember the Titans.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's what I was trying to get to, is why were you dropping these umbrella genre?
I just wanted to... Sorry, y'all. I'm not trying to be confusing to you or anyone out there.
Just a recap.
Exactly. Just recapping what we talked about this night so we can all... Cool, the community pick. But do I... Yes, you called it the community pick, but do I want to...
Oh, okay.
Just joking. That totally works. Yes. Cool, community pick.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, bud. Our cat's like slowly
like
exploring the world.
He's just like
back to
so
it.
sad tonight after that. But he's also, because we gave him anti-anxiety medication, he's really slow, so he's just sort of like...
He's also high as shit right now.
He's just looking around like, what happened?
He's doing good. He's doing good. Okay. Okay, thank you, Wedge. Yeah, I'm trying to... I think that's the thing. Like, I agree that this is a community, but I'm trying to keep it on theme of, like, what would we call it at a video store? Preferred customer's a little wordy, and I also I like our little template. We'll think on it. How do you... Okay, we can totally introduce that this week. I think it's a fucking awesome idea. Soft pitch that we introduce it next week with Remember the Titans, and we use that to springboard some sports movie talk next week. Which, again, big thing there. That means we can include ninja movies. We can include all the stuff we mentioned earlier. And on that note, I think my staff pick next week is going to be Speed Racer. Also, I might just pitch that to be movie club pick in the future. It's one of my favorite movies ever. I always look for an excuse to rewatch it. But, yeah, I wish the cat could watch and appreciate movies a bit more. He's pretty dumb about them. He avoids them, doesn't pay attention.
Avid fan of the Bachelor Nation, though.
He is a Catchler Nation member. Okay. I'm gonna scroll. I'm just gonna be lazy tonight and scroll and see what sparks my joy from the shelf for my staff pick.
Oh yeah.
Because no. What starts my joy?
I think that's why my mind was so like.
Why don't we just pick some comedies? Mine will be Talladega Nights.
But do they have to be the?
Nah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, if we're picking comedies, my comedy is My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, excellent. Great job, nerds. You mentioned earlier your ninja movie suggestion. I'm sorry that we missed that. Can you drop it again? Aww. Pathos, it means so much that you've been here, and to everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Y'all are the best. This is the best part of our week, especially during these very hectic times.
And in all caps with a question mark on My Cousin Vinny. I'm curious if that's... Oh, I love My Cousin Vinny. Okay. Okay. Yes, My Cousin Vinny is one of my favorites. Yeah. I mean, come on. It's amazing.
I might take mine back. I don't want it to be Talladega Nights, but I'm going to pick another comedy. Because I think My Cousin Vinny inspired me, and it reminded me of what a girl named Anne, who was very smart, wonderful movie nerd I used to work with at the video store. One day I was putting Empire Strikes Back into my staff picks, and she said, "Why are you doing that? That's a very famous movie. That's not what that's for." And I said, "You're right. Thank you, Anne." And I put it back. I was just on a Star Wars kick and being super impulsive.
Interesting.
So I'm going to try and think of a comedy that I think maybe is... I got it. 3 O'Clock High. That's mine.
Oh, that was also on our queue shelf.
There you go. I would love to watch it with you. Mine is 3 O'Clock High, and I'll tell you why. Because 3 O'Clock High is a reference to Westerns. It is a Western teen comedy. It is kind of a high noon riff. It's about a kid who accidentally bumps into a bully that hates being touched. And the clock counts down to their frankly, spaghetti western ripoff confrontation at the end of the movie.
I'm loving this love for My Cousin Vinny in the chat, and also the fun fact from Pathos there. I feel like I've talked about this before. I love My Cousin Vinny. I think the writing is brilliant. I think the acting is brilliant. I think it is one of the best comedies ever made. It's one of the first things that influenced me to like love dialogue, comedy. Marissa Tomei, forever and always. Get Out of Town. I love her.
Do you want to show your sweater? Do you know where it is?
Yeah.
Go. You should go grab that. And I'm gonna say Batman Ninja is something. I'm gonna take a photo right here. Vineet, I'm gonna try and watch Batman Ninja as well. Snap. Stephanie got a pretty sweet Christmas present on the My Cousin Vinny tip. I think we know where it is. That's so fast. Oh, you put it on? Man, you're a speed demon.
Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Look at that. I love it.
Yep. If you know me, you know I love My Cousin Vinny, and you know that I love Marissa Tomei in general, but in My Cousin Vinny, I mean, speaking of awakenings, it is definitely a Clint Eastwood with a kitten in a hat moment for me. You know what?
Because I think how we should describe being turned on from here on out. Hey, honey, I'm feeling like Clint Eastwood with a kitten in a hat.
I love her.
Me too. Marissa Tomei is eternal.
That movie is so good.
Marissa Tomei and Rachel Weisz, I think.
Are these magic grits? Sorry.
I love it. You
I
go
love
off.
that movie.
We just got that on Blu-ray too.
I could probably quote that movie from start to finish.
See, and that's your Bromedy. That's your quoting a movie instead of having a personality moment.
But I didn't.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
I mean, I just did now, and
I'm
I
just
said
saying,
these magic grits.
have a little empathy.
Go around school going, "Are these magic grits?"
But imagine if all your...
No, I know.
I'm just trying to... I'm honestly just trying to be chaotic. I have no agenda here. Meow, indeedly doodly.
The reason I found this so quickly is because I just
yes, Wedge. Sorry. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh yes.
And the Mummy.
I do love that Eastwood with a kitten in a hat is gonna be like our new meow moment.
Yo, Rachel Weisz in The Mummy with the Egyptian eyeliner and styling, drunk at the fire, talking about how much she loves being a librarian. Like my little 15-year-old heart popped watching that in theater. Okay, sorry.
Oh, I really was just saying it wasn't like any kind of magic. It's just that I just, because of our move, just purged my wardrobe and reorganized what I had left. So I knew exactly where boom, boom, it was.
And you're magic.
But also I'm magic.
All right, y'all. This feels like it feels like the end of a really fun, very chaotic, slightly terrifying evening. Y'all have been wonderful. Thank you to everybody for being here, for being part of the convo.
Yes, I missed y'all. 2 weeks was too long.
2 weeks too long, yes.
2 weeks too long.
Yes.
Yes.
Follow You're in a Video Store on Instagram, where we will post not only our staff picks, but any fun other stuff. We have a theme song now. I rapped it. DK Thunda, a friend of the stream, produced it. And Watch Out Wedge mixed it quite masterfully, I might say. I would love if you listen to that. It should end up on Spotify in the next few days, but check out our Instagram where you can find a link to my Bandcamp to listen to that song. If you like synthwave and want to hear me rhyme Wong Kar Wai with Slaughterhouse 5, go check it out. I have been one of your two hosts, Protextor.
And I've been your other host, Stephanie Thoreson, aka DJ Stephanie Michelle, if you see me in the chat, aka at Flock of Schmiegels on Instagram.
And you have been watching You're in a Video Store right here on UltraLoop's Twitch, and you are a fantastic human being who deserves to take care of your mental health and get some rest and watch something dumb and zone out and just chase your joy, my friend. You guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you next week. Oh, what is the last thing we should say? Be kind, rewind. Black Lives Matter. Get home safe. And sorry, guys, we're closing.
Oh, gotta close up. Tingling.
You are in a video store. Say you are in a video store. Store. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video store. Store. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video store. Store. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video. From Lubitsch to Mamoulian, Kubrick to Leone and Corbucci and Suzuki, these movies take you to New Orleans. We recommend it, never pretentious, it's never in it, just where our head is. It's one Kauai and a Slaughterhouse 5. Those Hollywood nights are Hong Kong on fire. I could watch it all night, press stop and rewind. Watch it again, you're strapped in, ain't no stopping the ride. That's Ginger Rogers the time. Swing down to Broadway and lights. Ishii, Miike, Tarkovsky, Almodovar, Von Sternberg, Dietrich, Garbo, Garfield, Heathcliff with Transformers over on the 80s TV show. You need a hand, we can reach it. Move in silence like Murnau Melly is Mishu. Spending afternoons with Maya, then watch Freddy Got Fingered. It's all love for that silver screen. Now baby, what that TV do? And we here every week too, so don't you touch that dial, bruh. We ain't skipping the previews. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video store. Store. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video store. Store. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video store. Store. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video store. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video store. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video store. You are in a video store. Say you are in a video. You are in a video. You are in a video. Yeah, welcome to the rental shop. Yeah, welcome to the rental shop. Welcome to the rental shop. Yeah, welcome to the rental shop. Yeah, welcome to the rental shop. Say you are in a video. You are in a video. Rent that shit double. Yeah, 2 for 1, baby, on Tuesday night. Got the popcorn, I'm feeling just right. Should we get a couple new releases and a couple old ones? Yeah, no, I think we can get both. We have time. We'll watch them. Yeah, if we don't get around to that one, I'll pay the